Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Knees Up Mother Brown TV, KUMBTV's Eyes Up Mother Brown. We are here this afternoon for West Ham United versus Newcastle United, a hugely important game in West Ham's United season, and one which, if we win, could take the Hammers nosebleed territory into the top three of the Premier League. I'm joined this afternoon by the regular team and one or two extra special guests this afternoon. My hellos to the Pink Palermo this afternoon. To Rio and to Mr. Thrower, and Mr. Thrower down on the South Coast. How are you doing, gentlemen?
Yeah, fine. Not quite at the South Coast, but Hampshire anyway. But,
well, it's all south from here anyway.
Dad's moaning you didn't call him Sir.
Sir Thrower. My apologies, sir. But anyway, we're going to go over to the middle, Mr. Thrower, right now to kick us off with today's lineups. Gnome, if you will, sir.
Yeah, okay. Right, we line up as follows. Fabianski, Soufal, Dawson, Diop, welcome return for Ogbonna, Johnson, Noble, Souček, Fornals, Lingard and Bowen. On the bench, we have usual two goalkeepers of Martin and Trott, Balbuena, Alves, Fredericks, Coventry, Lanzini, and another long-term injury return, Yarmolenko and Benrahma. The home side, our hosts today, line up with Dubravka in goal, then Murphy, Fernandez, Clark, Dummett, Ritchie, Shelby, Longstaff brackets S, Almiron, St. Maximin, and Joe Linton. And referee today, I believe, is Kevin Friend.
Yes, I do believe that's correct. Thank you, Gnome, for the teams. Rio, good afternoon, sir. How are you?
I'm okay, thank you, mate.
Excellent. Good to see you. Good to see you. A couple of faces back for West Ham this afternoon. Any surprises there for you in the team? Good to see Ogbonna back, of course, in the back three or back five, as it were.
Yeah, Angelo's been the best defender for the last couple of years. Hopefully, he's going to be a stabilising influence, bring a little bit of order and organisation, which we've been sadly lacking, particularly in the last 20 minutes of games the last few weeks. Yeah. So that's a massive plus for me. I've got a few concerns though, Ben Johnson at left wing back, but needs must, and it's a time for that to prove himself and really kind of force himself forward into the team and getting a regular starting spot. So just hope the boy can actually spring a bit of form and because he's had a bit of a dodgy patch since the cup game at Old Trafford.
Yeah, he has.
Not really found his form lately. So yeah, so with Arthur and Aaron out, they're bones time again, isn't it?
Very much so. But it's you know, we were kind of joking last week that we might not be able to put a team out today, but at least we've got a fairly decent side. And Pinky, good to see you again this afternoon, buddy. But at least we have a couple of options on the bench this afternoon, which is something we've been lacking in recent weeks.
Yeah, and you know, I've commented a few times now how refreshing it is to have a manager that is willing to go with what he's got, rather than spend every press conference lamenting what he doesn't have. Yeah. And you know, we can argue to the cows come home over the overall strength of the squad, but ultimately it's been good enough to get us into fourth spot thus far. Yeah, the options on the bench today, you know, Yarmolenko, useful to have, Benrahma, Lanzini, they are reasonable options. And if we need to get a goal with a few minutes to go, they are players that can come on and make a difference. So, yeah, I'm quite happy. I mean, obviously we look a bit lightweight down the left flank with no Cresswell and no Masuaku.
Yeah,
but, you know, we're just going to deal with that.
Yes, someone's bleeding back sound. I'm not. Is that you, Gnome? Possibly.
That could be. I've got get commentary. I'm at my parents, so connections aren't quite as right in the sticks. So you know, if somebody feeds Horlicks to the hamster, the electricity goes down. So
you don't need to tell me about those things. Believe me, mate. Given the fact that we've got a few mice outside running around the wheel, keeping things going here as well. But you know, as Pinky was just saying, it's good to see we've got some options on the bench. You know, Lanzini, Yarmolenko. Are you surprised to see Yarmolenko back today? I don't think there was any indication that he'd be playing.
There was a couple of weeks ago. They said that his knee still wasn't right, and they were going to see another specialist.
Yeah.
But that's been the sort of last report that's been left up there ever since. But I knew he seemed to be getting back. He played in that practice match that Arthur played in a couple of weeks ago. I think it might be during the international break.
Yeah.
But so he was getting there. It's good to see him, back anyway. As it is with any player who's been out with injury. The Masuaku situation is a bit new one on me. I mean, I've been travelling down all morning, so I haven't been up to date.
Yeah.
One has. I don't know if you've got up to date information, but one has to assume that he's probably injured on the grounds that, if not, why have we got two keepers on the bench still?
Yeah. Yes, you'd think so. It's a strange one, but it's it's troublesome. And Rio, we thought that Cresswell might make it today. There were rumours from David Moyes on Friday that he was touch and go, but Moyes was confident. Do you think that was just a bit of gamesmanship on Moyes' behalf, or do you think they just rested him? Yeah,
yeah, absolutely mind games. I think they're from Moyes. The state of Aaron's muscle the other on Sunday, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It looked an absolute state. So I think there's any chance in hell of him making it today. So yeah, I just think Moyes trying to put a little bit of down to sleep Bruce's mind, and not he needs that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to question the wisdom of letting him go back on for those extra 2 minutes.
Well, yeah, I mean that was something we spoke about last week, wasn't it? Whether or not there was any sense in doing that. It seemed odd. It's not the first time West Ham have done that, is it? We've been seen to have done that before and on a few occasions, and it's not paid off. But lessons apparently not learnt, it would seem. But moving on to Newcastle, Pinky, they've got their own injury issues, but they've got a couple of very, very strong players inside. They've been struggling, of course, this year, but by no means a walkover, this one for the Hammers this afternoon, as of course we found out on the opening day of the season.
Yes, that and dare I say it, come the final day of the season, will it be the opening day's result that actually comes back to haunt us? Yeah. Or will it be the drop points, having led 3-0 against Arsenal? Take your pick. But no, I mean, Newcastle this afternoon, can I just firstly congratulate the Fourth Estate for not boring us all this week with page after page of John Joe Shelby. Frankly, don't want him at West Ham. Thank you very much. I know he's local and all that, but so am I. And guess what? I'm not good enough for West Ham either. But, in terms of Newcastle, looking at it, dare I say it, Andy Carroll, there you go. You just know, 85th minute, he's the Hail Mary option, isn't he? On he comes. So for us to have Angelo back today, I think if we can get 90 minutes out of Angelo, we might actually need 93, 94 minutes out of him, because that's Steve Bruce. If it's all square with 5 to go, Andy Carroll's on the pitch, and he might only last 5 minutes as a player, but he can actually score a goal in that time. So they do have options, but I have to say, I think this afternoon it'll be a case of carry on winning for West Ham United at St James's Park, and we should, even with our depleted starting lineup, have a little bit too much for Newcastle. That's what I'm going with. I'm going with a win this afternoon for West Ham.
Well, let's get straight into the predictions. We do it a little bit earlier than usual today. What score are you going for, Pinky?
I'm going 3-1 to West Ham United.
Awesome, thank you. Gnome, what are the Gnome family thinking about this one this afternoon? 3 points for Hammers and third place.
West Ham to win.
Good question. West Ham.
Win 2-1 West Ham. You say?
Yes, I'm going to win 2-1.
2-1. Jeff says 2-1. I'll go 3-1.
Let's hope you're right, Jeff. All right, we'll make it 2.5-1 then, as a split,
2.5. Yeah,
split decision. Ria, what do you reckon?
I'm going to bring back the pessimism back into West Ham again. I've got a few worries today, so I'm going to go for a 1-0 defeat.
Ooh, that's an interesting one. What's that? Is this just the usual reverting to the the standard West Ham pessimistic state? That one.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I picked out a few posts on the forum this week, which I'll go for a little bit later, which just encapsulates the way that West Ham fans feel about being fourth in the league, playing against a team that's fourth from bottom. No,
Yeah.
things never easy. Thrown to the mix the fact that we can't keep on scoring at will as we have been doing because this is West Ham.
Mm-hmm.
Also thrown to the mix that Callum Wilson's on the bench. He's primed and ready to go.
Yeah.
And he scores against us every single time. So I'm just getting the pessimism back into the room, making everyone come down a little bit, forget the third place nonsense. We don't belong there. We belong where we're at that slightly lower level, nervous as hell and expecting defeat.
Okay. So that's we've got two wins on the table. 3-1 for Pinky, 2.5 to 1 for Gnome, or 2-1 for Gnome, 3-1 for Jeff. Rio going for a 1-0 defeat. Other way round. Sorry. Well, I'm going to have to go in the middle. I mean, we've got a couple of wins and a defeat, so I'm going to go for a draw. There's going to be goals, isn't there? You can see even with Ogbonna back in the team, you know, it looks like I can't see us keep the clean sheet in this one, and I certainly can't see Newcastle keeping a clean sheet. So I'm going to go for a thoroughly entertaining one for the neutral 2-2, I think, this afternoon, and a slight disappointment, I suppose, for West Ham. But we were talking about this, Pinky, weren't we, last week, about how West Ham fans just can't escape that pessimistic state. And I suppose looking at least half of our predictions today, you can see that coming through again.
Yeah, I mean, you should think we should probably write a song about it and sing it before matches and things like that. You know, I mean, I can't be having it, if I'm being honest, and without getting too serious this early in what we're doing this afternoon. If there's one thing we need to change at West Ham on the pitch, certainly, is that thought process that says, well, it doesn't really matter, kind of thing. We just shrug our shoulders. It does matter because these are professionals that we're watching, and I would like to see every player in our squad this year finish as high up the league system.
Well, no, because I'll still be on air on time.
Imagine if you Mark Noble down, you can finish your career potentially finishing in a team that finishes third in the Premier League. You look back at how we still idolise the boys of '86 and all the rest of it for their third place finish. I'm not sure that this season quite matches that in some regards, not least because none of us are there to watch it. Yeah. But ultimately, I want the players to do well. And I'll be frank, this afternoon, if it's 1-0 off Ogbonna's backside in the Newcastle net in the 94th minute, I'll take it. Because we're at the business end of the season. And if none of us really cared, none of us would ever look at the league table. None of us would ever look at the scoreboard. None of us would ever cheer a goal. Of course we care. Yeah, of course it matters.
Yeah. Just, joking aside, I mean, when the fans are in the stadium, do you think that pessimism actually filters through from the fans onto the pitch and creates issues for the players and causes them to be perhaps a little bit more conservative than they might necessarily be otherwise?
Oh, what a good professional host you are. You're not naming him, but I will. Ian Abrams, again, in the news this week on social media, isn't he? And the criticism that's being directed at West Ham United supporters, apparently we're the problem. Apparently we're the problem that the players can't perform week in, week out. What a load of absolute tosh.
Yeah.
What a load of tosh. And I'm sorry, I've seen us drag the team out of desperate situations season after season with our fantastic supporters, who travel the length and breadth of the country. So, no, I'm not having that. I'm not having that. Maybe some nervousness, but I don't think there's negativity. I think it's nervousness. Okay. And that's because we want the team to do well. So I'm not buying into all that. West Ham are doing well this season because the supporters aren't there. I'm telling you, if the supporters had been there this season, we'd be way past Man City. There you go. That's how much difference our supporters make. So Moose, you're calling it wrong, pal.
No, do you agree with that one?
Well, I had to pop out there for a second, but I caught the end of that. And the comment that Moose, you're calling it wrong, is whatever he's calling it, it's about to be a correct statement. I mean, it's easy and it suits the owners to blame the supporters when everything goes wrong. And I notice in certain places there are people who are very quick to allow them the credit for how well the season's going. And I'm thinking, we're doing that well in spite of rather than because of. We're just looking at how thin the team is, how thin the squad is. What's replacing? I mean, the replacements have done very, very well last couple of games.
Yep.
Noble's proved that when he sits in there alongside Souček, when there's two rather than the three of them, he's not as good as Deck is these days. But he's a capable and adequate replacement, and he had a fine game last week.
Well, he did, and it's not just last week. I think the last couple of games in Declan's absence, he's been more than sufficient in that role, isn't he? I think you're absolutely right. It is, when he came in as that midfield three, that was when we had difficulties, wasn't it? But in a two, accomplished as always. Yeah,
and the block that he put in, where he hurt his part of the anatomy that Jamie Carragher doesn't know his backside from. It was body online, as they say. But teams are coming out, by the way, at the moment, just to update you with what's going on ahead of us. And interesting stat for you: the distance from the centre spot to the back row of the away section at Newcastle is the same as the distance between Newcastle and the Olympic Stadium. Probably.
It's that 300 miles, isn't it? Roughly?
Something like that. It certainly feels like it. It's about this time every year when I go up there that I remember my arthritic knee and I limp towards the away entrance, and they take pity on me and let me have the lift. There are 18
up in the gods.
There are 18 flights of stairs to the ground, the bottom level of the away section. It hasn't got a row Z. I know because I once had a seat in row Y, which was right at the back. And, on a clear day, you can see the coast, of Norway.
Of Norway. Excellent. Rio, we haven't done it yet, but let's have a quick dive into the forums and just see what the mood is pre-match. Do they share your and my negative view of what's going to happen, or do they share the optimism of Jeff and Gnome and Pinky this afternoon?
Well, post team announcement, it's been quite pragmatic and quite reasonable. But all throughout the week, there's been a few posts which really, as I just said, encapsulate what being a West Ham fan's all about.
Yeah.
Old Fart has put, I'm scared of this one. There would be an odd symmetry to them beating us again. Billy Dino, beating Wolves at Molineux, Leicester at home, then get battered by Newcastle. It's just the West Ham way, isn't it? Sendo has put, I'm worried about this. It's the sort of game that very much like West Ham to lose, given our injury problems.
Yep.
Mega Ron, we're definitely going to lose this one. I might take the dog for a hike about 12:30. Get back has put, the pessimism on here is unbelievable. If the glass is half empty, top it up and choose it. I don't see us losing this one and had to stand to win for a while. We have a good defence that's faced better, faster forwards than where we're facing tomorrow. The problems and the pressures are all ours. Great Yarmouth. Because we are West Ham, and like many others on here, I've been waiting and expecting the bubble to burst at some point. So that's what we're used to as a fan base. Yep. If there's no Wilson or Alan St. Masson playing, I'll be a lot more confident win. But as it is, I've gone against us and my accumulator bet for the day. I'm hoping the gods conspire against me. There was another post which I can't find at the moment.
Yeah.
But it said the way that we're acting and behaving on the forum, not bigging us up, not being, dare I say it, Spursy, it's really captured what West Ham's all about, We're fourth in the league. We're playing a fourth bottom team. What other club in the country would come into it full of pessimism? We do, because we're not getting ahead of ourselves. We know where we've come from. We know what we've achieved this season.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. But we're taking a game-by-game basis. Let it go. Let it ride. If it comes off, it comes off.
Excellent. Like that. Let it go. Let it go. There you go. 7 cup finals to go, 7 games to go, 7 cup finals. The West Ham fans not particularly optimistic going into this one. We're not particularly optimistic as a complete team. Some of us are. Pinky is, and Gnome and Jeff are. Me and Rio less so. But there is a minute silence at the moment, so I guess we should shut up for a few seconds.
Right, we're back.
There you go. Minute silence in memory of the Duke of Edinburgh, of course, who passed away last week and whose funeral is this afternoon. The Premier League kindly moving West Ham's game, so the two don't clash this afternoon. But
we've just had our first comedy moment, by the way. The whistle was blown to take the knee, and somebody didn't get the memo from the Newcastle side and kicked off. Anyway, we've kicked off properly now, and we're underway.
Okay.
Ball's in our half, and I'm just waiting for the time to come up. We want to do a quick time check. We're now on 22, 23, 24, 25 seconds here.
Okay, well, I've just kicked off as you said that, so that's how far behind I am everybody else. Pinky, what Newcastle forum are we casting our gaze upon this afternoon, my friend?
Well, I'm trying a couple because, you know, big club and all that. I'm on Toontastic, where the match day thread has got 3 entries, and I'm also looking at Toon Forum, which has a massive 11.
Right.
So, you know, dare I say it, maybe that tells the story of the apathy of that football club now. But in the few comments that are there, they really are pinning all of their hopes on Wilson coming on late in the game to try and get them something. You know, for Newcastle United fans, actually, they're fairly balanced comments.
Yeah.
Although there was one that caught my eye. I had a dream the other night where Alan St. Maximin dedicated his hat trick to Prince Philip and woke up in a cold sweat thinking, I really have to stop eating so much cheese. And yes, I share his view there, because if Alan St. Maximin actually had a final ball or, you know, good decision making, he wouldn't be playing at Newcastle United. The fact that he is tells you all you need to know about his lack of quality in the part of the pitch that really matters for all his pace. So Newcastle on the ball at the minute and trying to play it out from the back, and fantastic. The Newcastle player can't make a 3-yard pass to his own player and puts it straight to tuck for a West Ham throw.
A few predictions from you guys watching us live on YouTube. Hello to everybody. I haven't said hello to you guys yet, but thank you, as always, for joining us live on the stream this afternoon. Xander going for a 2-1 win for the Hammers. Richard Van, 4-1. I presume that's a 4-1 win to West Ham. Richard Hobo going for a 3-2 defeat. And Jeff Hathaway believes it'll be a 2-0 win to West Ham. Polaroid also going for a sneaky away win, a 1-0 win for West Ham. Would take any of those, wouldn't we, at the moment? Gnome, a 2.5, just coming up to 2.5 minutes gone. What have you noticed in the initial exchanges so far in terms of tactical setup? How the teams are lining up out there?
Not much. The one tactic that seems to be neither team can actually keep the ball in play at the moment, and neither team can, as Newcastle give it away yet again. Neither team can actually hold on to the ball on the pitch. So very scrappy, very sort of people still waking up type game at the moment. Longish ball play, trying to get Fornals in, but yeah, nothing really much to report either way.
Nothing of note.
West Ham win a free kick as Souček gets upended by Shelby, the instantly recognisable Shelby. So let's see what happens here if you want to stay with me, because it's in halfway inside the Newcastle half and it's in decent position.
All right.
We have been we can be quite inventive with free kicks. So maybe not as far as the Newcastle half as I thought, about 15 yards in. So it's a little bit further back than I thought. But line of players across the penalty box. Noble sort of looking at chipping one in. Plays it wide to the left-hand side of the box. Headed back into the area. Newcastle defender deals with it well. And it's swift away. And haven't quite managed to keep it in. But yeah, thrown to Newcastle. So nothing came of that.
Okay, a couple more predictions for you. Paul Origi says he thinks we'll get 4 today. Hopefully, they'll be in the opposition net, unlike the 4 couple of own goals we got against Arsenal a couple of weeks ago. Paul, Steve Page also going for a 3-1 win to West Ham. Steve, of course, the author of an excellent article that we published on KUMB.com earlier this week entitled Out with the Old, In with the New. If you haven't read it already, please fire on over to the website and have a look at that in the opinion section. Yeah, as I say, entitled Out with the Old, In with the New. A really good piece from Steve. 5 minutes gone. Newcastle United, West Ham United 0. The Hammers, of course, pushing to go third in the
first
table
shot of the game.
Now. No.
Yeah, first shot of the game. Almiron was allowed to run across the front of the penalty area, squared it, and I think it was Longstaff who basically hit a bobbled shot, which appears to have taken a deflection corner to Newcastle. It was never going to trouble Fabianski, but it took a little bobble on the way through. Corner on the Newcastle left, played in, ball in swinger. Fabianski a little bit struggling, but it's cleared out. And bring the ball away now. Noble plays it back, and it's played out with Bowen trying to get on the end of this, I think. And yeah, he's beaten his man, but he's just clipped there. So free kick to West Ham on the right wing, 10 yards or so to Newcastle half. It was a good corner, that. Fabianski just did enough there. It was swinging in at the far post. Yeah. It was a very, very good piece of goalkeeping there, but it was a tough corner to deal with.
It is 57 years since West Ham last scored 3 goals against their opponents in 3 matches in succession before the opponent scored. Whereas it was revealed on KUMB, well, actually, we nicked it off of Robert Banks on Twitter, to be honest with you, but sort of emphasised what happened on KUMB earlier this week. Rio, is there any chance we're going to do it again this afternoon? And I know you've obviously gone for a 1-0 defeat, but wouldn't that be something?
It would be absolutely amazing. I just got my doubts. I think we've had to rejig at the back again. We've got no natural left-sided defender to kind of flow through and help assist the attacks build up. Arthur missing, I know he's suspect defensively, but he does come forward, offers that width. So it's going to be a little bit more congested today. Also, Ogbonna coming back, he's short of match practice. And also think that after the events of the last few games, I think David Moyes will be a bit more cautious in the way we approach it a little bit, try not to be as open as we have been.
Yeah,
most of it has come when we're on the back foot after getting to a 3-0 lead and then committing virtual footballing suicide. But yeah, I think there'll be a little bit more caution in the air today.
Yes, good reviews are in there from Soufal on St Maximum, so that should take a yard of pace off him for the next 10 minutes or so. So good, strong challenge that. Yeah.
Looking at that, is that a foul, really?
I don't care as long as it takes a yard off St Maximum's pace. I'll take it.
I mean, he's took the ball and then after the ball's gone away from him. Anyway, free kick to Newcastle. It's a dangerous looking one, not really dealt with. St Maximin does well. Oh, yeah, it looks all right. As Ian Crook has just said, he looks all right now, doesn't he? Yeah, it wasn't really a foul. Did some wriggling in the box, got a shot in, but it was blocked. We bring the ball away now.
I'm not sure whether he was sort of trying to register the extent of the injury there. Or do you remember that thing that everyone used to do in the 80s with the finger click? It looks a bit like that, didn't it? Do you remember the?
Yeah.
Far too young to remember that. But anyway, 8.5 minutes gone. Newcastle United 0, West Ham United 0. The Hammers still looking for their first effort at goal. Rio saying that the Hammers are probably going to be a little bit more cautious this afternoon, given the fact that we've defended woefully. I mean, Rio, what was the you came out with it the other day in our Snapchat discussion? Was it 7-1 against West Ham in the last 3 second halves?
Yeah. 7-1 against. I think it was 9-0 up at half time. It's not pretty reading for the second half, was it?
Yeah. So you can read that two ways.
Corner, by the way.
We will go to Gnome. West Ham have a corner. Yeah,
corner on the left. Played into the 6-yard box. It's nodded on, but Newcastle clear at the edge of the box. Ogbonna, is it Diop rather? Sorry, Diop gives away a foul on the edge of the box, trying to keep the ball in there. That's St. Maximin again, who's on the floor. It was a decent corner, actually, and it was a nice little nod on from Ogbonna, but nobody sort of following up. And it was...
Something I read earlier.
Johnson with the foul, sorry.
Where we've been so kind of prolific from corners this season, scored quite a few goals from them. The last 3 games we haven't, but we've only had on average 2 corners per game in the last 3.
Yeah,
which is quite surprising considering we've scored all them goals, been on the front foot quite a lot. Only just an average of 2 corners per game.
Yeah, good point. You're not going to score many goals from set piece, I guess, if you're not creating them, Pinky. But a reasonably sort of edgy start from the Hammers here this afternoon, and both sides kind of feeling each other out in this opening 10 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, I think the difference today will be Newcastle will be considerably more cautious than a number of our other opponents that we've played in recent weeks have been against us. So they're not going to leave themselves quite as wide open to counter-attacks as some clubs have done in recent times. Steve Bruce, being no doubt, a point to him this afternoon is gold dust. A point is everything. He doesn't have to get 3. He just needs to get a point, and he'll keep his club in this division for another year. And that's his sole purpose. So, they're not going to be wide open at the back. I think what would make it very interesting is if we did manage to get a relatively early goal, let's see what Newcastle do then. And that's when the gaps, I think, would appear behind them. Because if you're fourth bottom, you're not playing with a great deal. That's why you're fourth bottom.
Yeah.
And if you haven't got a great deal of heart, you will leave the gaps at the back if you've gone forward, because you just won't work hard enough to chase back. So yellow card for Dawson there. He took one for the team. A loose ball, and I think it was Joel Linton that latched onto it, and lo and behold, that's a good challenge, Craig. I like that. That's a proper centre half. No problem with that.
I don't think anybody will complain about that one.
No. Won't be troubling anyone at Lancaster Gate about that one on the appeals section.
No, any shades of Tony. I'm thinking Tony Gale there against Forest back in that FA Cup semi-final. There were a couple more defenders a little bit closer that time, but had to be done, didn't it?
Yeah, it had to be done. But the Tony Gale thing was obviously so far out. I think for that one, Keith Hackett would have actually issued some form of death sentence, I think, rather than just a red card. Yeah. Sorry about this, Mike.
But anyway, Newcastle have a free kick.
Well, nothing came of it anyway.
Well,
it was played in. There was a sort of weak header, and Fabianski gathered. Just an interesting point. We got on the Sky commentary today. It's Ian Crocker, who's obviously no stranger to West Ham, who's former match day announcer at the Bowling, and he pointed out that as Sky had been saying, the last time West Ham were this high up the table at this stage of the season was in April 1986.
Mm-hmm.
And the situation was, and it was about this time of year as well, that to go third, we beat a certain Newcastle team 8-1, which I still shudder at the hangover after that game, because I was drinking with the Geordies, and it was a cracking night out afterwards. But shot from distance from Newcastle, but Fabianski down again. Not really troubling Fabianski. That's Murphy. Cut in from the left-hand side. Sorry, the ball was played in from the left-hand side. Murphy cut in from the right. Made a little bit of room, but again, Fabianski, was there. Just got down and gathered it in quite safely, really. But we're allowing some space at the edge of the box, which is a little bit worrying, to get those shots in. And if somebody pulls off a worldie, we're going to be in trouble. And as we play the ball out for a goal kick with no hit pass again. So,
okay, good stuff. Rio, bonus point to you for naming the 3 goalkeepers that featured for Newcastle on that occasion.
It was definitely Chris Hedworth, I think. Peter Beardsley. I'm trying to think the actual keeper. It was Martin Thomas.
3 out of 3. Perfect. I can't remember, actually. I'm sitting here pretending that I can remember the answer. I remember Beardsley. That was about the only one, actually. But yes, well done, Rio. Correct. 3 out of 3. Well done. Well done. Incredible game. And of course, Rio, you will remember that match for something else, of course. When a certain idol of yours score that day?
No.
No, definitely not. No, that was Hull. About 2 years later.
Dear, the memory's going. The memory's going.
Finger on the pulse, Craig. Finger on the pulse.
30 yards out, blinding shot, trickled all the way to the keeper, who was Ian Hesford, who did his best to let it squirm under his body, and a little tear was shed in the North Bank by a certain person. I won't mention who.
Stevie Potts, what a player. Is Dan still at Luton, do we know? I think he is, isn't he?
I think he is, yeah.
Yep. And his other son, I think, is in the West Ham Youth setup as well still.
Good
I've
stuff,
still
good
got
stuff.
my actual match-worn shirt signed by him as well.
By Steve or Danny?
Steve.
Good stuff.
Free kick
15
to
and a
West
half
Ham.
gone.
Yeah, it's not been inspiring stuff from either side. Shelby's just got in the book now. He's given the ref some jip for it. Let's have a look at the challenge again. And Bowen's running across the pitch. And yeah, that's a yellow. It's as much a yellow as Dawson's was. He's just hacked him down, really. So, yeah. What's the chant they do at home when we play? Harry Potter, he's coming for you.
That's it.
Well, that's our first effort on target. Cross was played in from Noble. And, well, Souček was going for it, but Dawson was behind him. Headed it straight at the keeper. It wasn't the cleanest of gathers, but I think that's our first effort actually on target anyway. The first save that Dubravka, isn't it, has had to make today. So.
Yeah. Interestingly, we were talking about set pieces, and Dawson completely lost his man. I think it's Shelby, wasn't it, Pinky, that he got above, and a free header in the end.
Yeah, and truth be told, he should have done better with it, because just to fire it straight at the keeper, ultimately was disappointing. And you're not going to get that many chances, and that was a legitimate chance. So Dawson there should have done better, truth be told.
Interestingly, just looking at the match stats, and I've been doing other bits and bobs while I'm trying to watch the match, but West Ham have enjoyed 68% possession so far, interestingly, according to the BBC. But they are still saying that we haven't had a shot on goal yet, so that does need slightly updating. Newcastle, 4 shots apparently so far, and another one there, no.
I mean, it's one of these things. All the stats are a bit tosh, aren't they? Really, because I mean, how many shots are they crediting Leicester with last week, and how many of those were sort of effectively back passes?
Well, saying that, Gnome, we did make the point, didn't we, in the post-match discussion last week, that we are sort of averaging anywhere between 15 and 20 shots against in a game in the last couple of months, but only sort of 3 or 4 on target.
Register as a shot. Some maximum was about 30 yards out. Our register as a shot here just pumped it straight against the West Ham player who was 28 yards out. So pointless stats. You'll be telling me there's an expected shots. stats soon. You know.
Well, we should have brought that one out on April the 1st, shouldn't we? That would have been a really good one. Angelo Ogbonna standing strong there to prevent that shot going through. But Rio, any sort of
that's a more powerful shot Newcastle have had. Again, a bit of room, too much room at the edge of the box there. Cross came in, headed out. Newcastle kept it alive, and Sir Maximan made again a bit of space for himself, and that was a more powerful shot. Again, Fabianski, you'd expect him to save. It wasn't the hardest to save, but it was a better shot. There was a little bit more oomph to it, and a proper shot, if you like, and not one of the ones that they'll click up for the stats purposes.
Yeah, Rio, we were saying last week, weren't we, coming into the latter stages of the game, that Fabianski hadn't really had any saves of note to make, but already he's had to make, Murphy, I think, and some Maximum there, troubling him. Not particularly difficult saves, but he's had to be a bit more lively so far.
Yeah, definitely. It's a bit of a strange game. I mean, neither side looks particularly comfortable on the ball too much. Incredibly scrappy. My worry is that most of our chances are coming down the right-hand side, and because of the lack of a lateral left-sided player. So it's a little bit predictable at times, and it's a little bit worrying as well because we have to be on the front foot more. Newcastle just sitting deep and inviting us on, which isn't a natural game, not the way we've been playing particularly well over the last couple of months. We normally hit teams on the counter and take it to them that way. So it's a different kind of game we've got to approach this way. And not particularly pleasing on the eye at the moment, but let's just hope we can eke out a few chances here.
Yeah, well, we're nearly at the midway point in the first half. West Ham with only one shot or one effort on target. One effort altogether, actually, so far. That Dawson header from the Noble free kick after Shelby was booked for tripping Bowen on 16 minutes. But yeah, are we expecting a little bit more, Pinky, or are you sort of relatively happy with what you've seen so far?
I mean, the point Rio's just made there on the way Newcastle are playing. When we're in possession, they're not really pressing us at all. They're saying, okay, well, you've got the ball. They're not pressing. They're not, trying to force the guy on the ball into making a mistake. What they're doing is they're falling back into a defensive shape. They're marking space particularly well, and they're saying, well, come and break us down. Yeah. And I have to say, make a note in your diaries. Maybe you might want someone with quicker feet on the park, like a Ben Rama, maybe a Yarmolenko to come on and make a difference, because there's no doubt about it. Newcastle are saying, come and break us down. Yeah. And we haven't quite got the certain bit of magic to do that out there this afternoon. And so it's a little bit dull, if I'm being honest, what we're watching here this afternoon. And just reinforces the point that Newcastle, happy with the point, they'll get within 20 yards of our box and they'll have a shot because they might get lucky. That's their game plan today.
No, that's a win for Newcastle at Burnley last week. I mean, obviously it gave them massive amount of confidence in their battle to avoid the drop. It took them 6 points clear of Fulham. How does that affect their approach today? I mean, Pinky feels that Bruce will be quite happy with a point from today. That would obviously move them 7 points clear of the drop zone. Do you concur with that, or do you think that Bruce will be, hoping to win this and pretty much put it to bed?
He's not the most inspiring of managers at the best of times, is he, Bruce? To be honest, I'm a bit disappointed with them because after having won last week, having said that, they're on the attack now, so I'll come back to that question. That's St. Maximin run through the defence, got another shot away and takes a deflection for a corner on the left. I expected more of this, what we're just seeing now from Newcastle. Maximin, I was a bit between his teeth after last week. It's Dawson's got the block in. But corner from Newcastle left, our right. Let me just adjust that because, sorry, my phone's falling down. Corner comes in, it's played to the far post, but cleared away. As everyone's been saying, I mean, when we've had the ball, it's 11 men behind it, and we've tried pinging it in, and now we're on the break now. Now this may be something to look at as Lingard brings the ball away. It's a poor ball though. Tried to play Bowen in, it's cleared, but we're still on the attack now. But of course, Newcastle have got those 10 men, 11 men behind the ball now. So still on it though. Cross comes in from Johnson to the far post. Soufal's on the end of it. And Noble has a sort of half-hearted volley that goes a couple of yards wide. So, yeah, we've not seen much of Lingard today.
No, I was just going to raise that very point, actually.
And
he's been incredibly quiet.
There was a second ago, a few minutes ago, as I say, he was there, he was playing with his back to goal, which is not quite where you want him. And Noble's pinging the ball into him, and he's been tightly marked. And of course, the ball pings off him. Newcastle come away. So it's, you know, you want, as we had on that break there, that may have been interesting, where the final ball to Bowen was just poor. That's where you want him. You want him running at people, not picking up the ball in the edge of the box. And it's nearly some poor work there from Johnson, but we managed to rescue it.
Yeah, Rio, interesting first half of the first half here, in that this is not the way West Ham would choose to play, is it? And you know, we've been so effective away from home in recent weeks on the counter. I mean, Newcastle seem to be playing us at our own game, in the sense that they're quite happy to sit deep so far and pick us off. I mean, we just saw the example a couple of minutes ago where Noble conceded possession, and Sir Maximum turned Ogbonna actually rather quite too easily, and had that shot that was deflected for a corner. But yeah, it's almost like reverse roles in a way. And I just wondered, do you feel that the Hammers are perhaps struggling a little bit to adapt to being given so much time on the ball?
Yeah, definitely. And doesn't help when, as Gnome rightly pointed, our final balls were pretty shocking at times as well.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, so no, it's a different kind of scenario for us. I mean, we've been, like, as you said, we've been so used to recent weeks being the ones that pick off passes and pressing hard and breaking away quickly. We've been asked to dictate the play a little, and at the moment it doesn't really suit us. Obviously, we're lacking that little bit of creativity in the middle. And as I say that, we're on a breaking into the box, it comes to nothing once more. We're missing that kind of little bit of ingenuity. Well, I can't even say it.
Ingenuity.
Bit of creativity in the centre. So
bit of guile.
maybe particularly in the second half, if things pan out the way they are now, still saying this way, maybe it's a game for Ben Rama to come in and use his quick feet and a little bit of creativity and get in behind defenders, because it's a bit stale, stagnant, and congested at the moment. There's no real direction in our play at the moment. It all seems to be very disjointed and not particularly cohesive.
26 and a bit minutes gone. Newcastle United 0, West Ham United 0. Neither side really troubling the opposition goalkeeper so far. A few shots from long range, couple of saves made for Fabianski. As we said, the Dawson having West Ham's best and pretty much only genuine chance of the game so far. The Hammers still enjoying the lion's share of possession, 63% to Newcastle 37, but the Hammers have created just one shot compared to Newcastle's 7 so far. 3 on target for Newcastle, just 1 on target for West Ham.
Oh. Now this might be interesting. Noble's just won a free kick. He's beaten Almiron, who's clipped him. Clipped him on the ankle. Free kick to West Ham. It's about 25 yards out, right-hand side of the box. So Lingard and Bowen are over the ball, while the referee sort of explains that yards and inches aren't the same thing to the Newcastle 2-man wall. So let's have a look.
If we're going to score, it's going to be for something like this.
Yeah.
Got to make these count.
Not quite tall in Newcastle defence, having said that, but anyway, free kick to be taken. Bowen leaves it for Lingard, curls it in, and it's cleared, but Souček's let it go out for a West Ham throw. So nothing much to write home.
No, pretty much sums up the game so far. But the Hammers level at the moment. It's goalless at St James's Park, or Sid James Park, as christened by Pinky. earlier in the game. Pinky, West Ham, we said that Rio mentioned earlier on how proficient we'd been from set pieces already this season. Not really making the most of the opportunities so far today, though.
No, but I mean, if we actually had the sound on, the commentators would be boring us all with statements like Newcastle fighting for their lives and a battling performance and all the rest of it. And sometimes it's too easy to forget there is an opposition on the pitch, and we can all see very clearly what Steve Bruce's game plan is here today. It's all about survival for them. It doesn't matter how, it's just get a point, and if you get 3, well, it's a double bonus. But I'm not too perturbed with what I'm seeing. It's not exciting.
Yep.
You know what? We do have enough quality in our team that if we do get the moment, we can finish. And that's one thing we've been doing really well, is the chances that we've had, we've been converting them. And so I'm not too perturbed that it's not a chance a minute. I mentioned earlier, 94th minute off Bonner's bum. That'd do. We're away from home. There's this. Let's get real about this. We're away from home facing a team who are desperately trying to stay in this division.
Well, you can go and have your dinner.
Yes, we are rapidly approaching the half-hour mark. Still waiting for our first goal from this one.
Jeff's gone for his lunch, by the way, just to in case you were wondering.
It's made me feel hungry now. No, Newcastle fans, a fair few of them. What do you think they'll be thinking about the way Steve Bruce has the team set up this afternoon? Not just this season, but throughout the season. They haven't seemed too happy, have they?
I mean, my best mate, as you know, used to be chairman of their supporters club many years ago, and I think I don't think they're over enamoured of Bruce in any case, but the buck is stopping very firmly at the door of Ashley. And of course, there's a bit more information came out this week about this Saudi takeover. They're not happy with the Premier League for blocking it. Just break off there as Bowen looked to be in a decent position. Got the ball out in the left wing. Sorry, we're trying hard now. We've got him behind there. Lingard, though, plays it back rather than getting the cross in. Cross comes in now, but again, it's a poor cross. Doesn't beat the first man, and we have to go all the way back and start again. The feeling amongst the Georges is the Premier League have stitched them up in not allowing the Saudi purchase to go ahead. Now, there is all sorts of legal and arbitration stuff coming up on that, which I think the main argument is that the Premier League believe that the new owners would be effectively the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, which again overhit cross, but still trying to keep it live. Sorry, I keep breaking off when something happens, but the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia have been sort of complicit in allowing some rather blatant TV piracy of Premier League games to go on, which is obviously going to cost the Premier League money. So they're not happy with that. There's also maybe a moral angle to it. The human rights record over there isn't the greatest. The counter argument to that is that the owners wouldn't be the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. That'll count as a shot. Sorry, Fornals just got into the penalty box there at the penalty spot. Cross came in from Noble, wasn't cleared. Fornals took a swing at it first time, didn't hit it cleanly, bobbled a few yards wide. I would say the last 5 minutes have been played in Newcastle's half, by the way, pretty much exclusively. Nothing much happening now. We've got an injury. Not sure who that is, but he's taken both his boots off. He's having a replacement pair of boots, which really this should be taking place off the pitch.
Yeah, well, why is this going on? I mean,
that should be taking place off the pitch. I mean, those of us that played the game, if we want to change our boots, and we checked the ref, can you stop the game? I want to go and change my boots.
Bizarre.
The second word would have been off, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I was talking about their ownership things. Yeah, the new owners are saying, no, we're not the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. And therefore, yeah, we've got Saudi connections, but we're not effectively that. So you shouldn't really block us for that reason. Which then doesn't explain why the Crown Prince, or one of the Crown Princes of Saudi Arabia, felt the need to have a word with Boris Johnson about the whole deal. So it's all a bit of a mess. And,
do you see it going through in the end? No?
Well, I'm not entirely sure. I mean, it depends what this arbitration thing comes up with. The problem is that in many ways they're a bit like us. They're just quite desperate to get rid of Ashley, and you know, Bruce will hang on until Ashley goes, and if anybody else comes in, I think day one Bruce is handed his P45, and they'll bring someone in a bit more inspiring. At least that's what they're hoping. But
yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens on that one.
There we go. We're back underway again, by the way. The boots have been replaced.
I'm absolutely astounded by that. I don't think I've ever seen that before, Pinky. A match stopped for a player, especially for so long, to change his and his insoles, of course, by the looks of it.
Yeah.
It's utter nonsense, absolute nonsense, and you know what? Players get booked for ripping their shirt off and waving it around their head when they score a goal, yeah, because it's wasting time. They actually get yellow cards for that and end up missing over the course of a season, games if they get enough of them. And yet a player can change his boots, as I said, maximum goes forward. And
no,
you're joking.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
Utter muppet. You muppet. Mix up there between Fabianski and Diop, and I'm afraid the player who I absolutely coated off earlier, Mr. Maxman, saying he had no final ball. You know, his shot had all.
It's even worse. Dawson's off.
Is he going? Yeah.
Yeah, looks like it.
Oh dear. It's gone very, very wrong for West Ham United in the space of about 60 seconds. Craig Dawson already in the book for the earlier challenge on Joe Linton when he took one for the team, has just committed a second yellow card offence. Not only has Kevin Friend issued him his marching orders, but the ball is in the back of the net. An own goal from Issa Diop, Rio. how very West Ham.
Yeah, that was absolutely abysmal. I mean, Dawson lost the ball, lunged in, which is just completely brainless. The one thing I noticed, I mean, the last 2 or 3 minutes when Newcastle haven't much possession, our three centre halves have been playing virtually across the whole pitch. They had Logbonna in an almost traditional left back position, Diop at right back, so he had to track back a long distance to try and get back. He's got kind of tangled up there, and yeah, it's a comedy West Ham own goal as per usual. But we are up against it now. We're struggling to break this side down. We have now got 10 men. Newcastle are just going to sit back even further, shut up shop. Job done for Bruce at the moment. He's loving this, absolutely loving it.
No, just goes to show, you know, in the space of 30 seconds, you know, everything changes. West Ham were looking pretty comfortable, enjoying the lion's share of possession. But maybe, let's think positive for a second. Could this work in our favour? Newcastle now, you know, they've got the lead. They may be a bit more confident. Maybe they'll push forward a little bit more and leave a few more spaces at the back. I don't know. Trying to pick out some positives from it at the moment because it's not looking good.
Sorry, is that me you were talking to there, Grace?
I was, yeah.
Yeah, sorry, mate. I realised when nobody else answered. I was trying to concentrate on the game there, but it's. I don't know. It's they haven't shown much attacking intent really so far. I mean, that was the first time they got the ball out of their half for the last 20 minutes or so, really. And even then, it was kind of on the break. Can't really complain about the sending off 2 yellow card offences from Dawson. You know, it's self-inflicted wounds again. I mean, even now since the goal, even now we've sort of had all of the ball and they're just sitting back. But they're ideally placed to do that now. So, very, very disappointing. Quite what was happening there on the goal line. I mean, it should have been the easiest thing in the world to deal with.
Did that stem from, remind me, because I didn't catch it straight away, but was it a poor touch from Dawson that led to him making that lunge? It was a bad pass, Pinky.
Yeah, as the saying goes, I can't kick it that far. One of those.
Yeah, but
corner at West Ham on the bright side.
Good stuff. Something to.
So on the right hand side, ball was played, long ball played out wide to Soufal, who tried to get the cross in, got blocked. Problem we got is that our usual corner taker, obviously, is Cresswell, who's very accurate. Noble, bless him, I've never been over impressed with his taking of corners. So far too often we don't beat the first man when he's taking them for my liking. But it's been now left to Bowen. So it's maybe a better effort anyway. Bowen puts his hands up, played in, nodded on, but nodded, lost the flight of the ball, and it was nodded clear. And Newcastle can now break now, and this is a bit worrying because it could be another one of our. Shot from Murphy. Soufal rather got the block in. It trickled away. It nearly went straight back to a Newcastle player. Let's have a look. Quite sure what's happening here. Yeah, Dawson's first touch was shocking. They've shown it again. It was, very, very poor from Dawson there.
Yep. And Pinky, we were joking a little while ago about those West Ham own goals, and there it is again, another one.
I mean, breaking it down, poor first touch from Dawson, followed by a very poor decision to lunge in. He didn't have to. No doubt about the red card. What at all? We'd done enough after that.
It's goal. 2. That's poor from Fabianski. That's really, really poor. Fabianski's just done a Roberto. He's dropped the ball on the goal line. And Newcastle have shown no attacking intent for the whole game and now 2-0 up.
Oh dear. Well, we're used to that's just an absolute howler, isn't it, from Fabianski, Rio? But we're used to taking a 3-goal lead and fighting back. We've got to do it the other way around this afternoon.
Yeah, I mean, and we'll be a little bit more confident, but we're down to 10 men, and we don't normally have the other team's keepers dropping the ball in the back of the net like that and giving us a freebie, do we? I think the wheels have come off today. I think we've got to try and just not concede anymore, keep it tight, regroup at half time and see what we come up with. But my fears pre-game have come to fruition a little bit. I just can't see where we're getting a goal from at the moment.
No, and I think even worse there, Pink, is that Joe Linton, who can't score for toffee in a black and white shirt, has just been given the easiest chance he'll ever get in any shirt.
Yeah, I'd also like to have another look at the Fabianski error and see exactly where Diop's left hand is.
Okay.
Because might be me because I've got a bit of a downer on Youngster, but it looked like he might have just given his own keeper a little nudge in the back. Okay, which just might have put Fabianski off, but notwithstanding that is meat and drink to a goalkeeper. You've got to take those all day long and hang on to them. And in English football, you're going to get jostled. So, poor from Fabianski. But to go back to the first goal, the Dawson first touch, shocking. The decision to lunge in, even worse. We'd done the right thing after that. We'd forced.
We've been torn apart here now.
Yeah. We're looking very ordinary here now.
Save from Fabianski, but we're getting caught on the break. They're just sitting in.
They're being West Ham on West Ham today.
They're West Hamming it.
But we've done everything right after the Dawson error for the first goal. We'd forced the player wide. He got a really weak shot off, and somehow Diop did a drag back into his own net. I mean, you know, if you asked him to do that in training, he probably couldn't. You know, but I guarantee it'd be the best goal Diop ever scores in that sense. So you know, that was poor. The second goal just a keeper error, but we are at 6s and 7s in the defence today, and
today Mr. Moyes will earn his keep, I think, if we get anything out of this.
Well, I was just going to come to that, Gnome. What does he do? What does Moyes do? You've got to make a change now. Surely, 2-0 down. It's a game that, you know, we might as well throw caution to the wind and go for. You'd expect. So options are on the bench today. We do have, you know, 1 or 2 players capable of changing games. So what would you do?
I'd stop giving the ball away like that, like Soufal's just done. Yeah, we're our own worst enemies. Own worst enemies at the moment. Really are. What we got on the bench? Let's have a look. Well, I mean, what have we got back? We've got across the back there. It's Soufal. We've got Ogbonna. Bonner and Diop. So yeah, we might as well just stay with the 4 at the back there. Pull Johnson back. I mean, obviously, I think the idea was Johnson was going to be a wing back, but oh dear, sorry, Newcastle on the attack again, and they got the bit between the teeth now, and
yes, it's looking like we really Rio, we really need to get to half time as things stand, and as has been said, you know, just regroup and try and get back into. I mean, can you ever remember a West Ham team being 2 goals behind with 10 men and coming back to get a point or even win the game? Don't think
we struggle with 11, to be honest. Let's put it out. Let's be honest there.
Yeah.
I can't recall one for ages, if at all. And the thing is, all our offensive players, I mean, barring Pablo Fornals, who I thought was had a pretty tidy first half hour or so until the calamity struck. Lingard's not been on form. Souček's not been great. Noble's been ponderous and slow. We've offered nothing really going forward that would give you any cause for optimism. So I think half time come, maybe have a rejig. Lanzini and Benron might give us a different option. We might as well go for it now. You know, we're in the position we're in because we've played so well all season. It's not a complete disaster. There's still another few games to go after this. It's just a massive disappointment, and the manner is pretty shocking as well. So let's get to half time. Let's give it a go in the second half. Let's have a rejig of formation and go for it.
Yeah, good stuff. Pinky, would you go along with that?
Yeah, I mean, in years gone by, this is a performance so bad, you'd have every red top journo phoning their contacts in the northeast, trying to find out where the West Ham players stayed last night, and did any of them have a venture out to sample the delights of the Newcastle nightlife, because we're just not at it today. I mean, we're all over the place. There's a lack of desire, a lack of hunger. Dare I say it, you know, with the club captain on the pitch, there's a lack of leadership today. We've been really poor today, and I'll be looking to hang on, get in at half time, but a man short coming back from 2 goals, it just screams to me of set piece. Whatever we do, devise a game plan that is hoik the ball upfield, get a set piece opportunity, and try and nick goals, because you know I can't see where else goals are coming from today, to be honest with you.
No. I suppose the one thing you could say is that it's been a season full of surprises so far, and if West Ham were to somehow claw their way back from the clutches of inevitable defeat here, it would only tie in with the rest of the campaign. So you never know. Let's hope for there's going to be one more miracle this afternoon, because as the guys say there, things are looking very, very dark at the moment for West Ham. 2 goals behind as we rapidly approach. Is that half time? I think we're at half time.
We got there's 2 minutes of stoppage been added. We're into the third. Bit of extra time being added on for a West Ham free kick on the right wing. Lingard is on the ball. Just give us a second. Lingard swings it into the box.
Put it in.
And it goes all the way through eventually. And that'll be your half time.
There it is. It's half time at St James's Park, and the news for West Ham couldn't be much worse. It is Newcastle United 2, West Ham United, Neil the Hammers going along pretty well, matching Newcastle all the way. And then the whole game changed within the space of 30 seconds in the 36th minute. Craig Dawson already booked after 12 minutes for a pretty poor foul on Joe Linton. Made a pretty bad touch on a ball that was laid back to him and went straight through an opponent. And, it would have been, if that red card had taken place, it would have been bad just as that was. But of course, the ball carried on. Newcastle continued with play, and the ball ended up in the back of the net. A little bit of a mix-up. It's not really a mix-up from Fabianski, but Diop sort of getting tangled up with the goalie, legs and arms everywhere. The ball coming off Diop and going into the back of the net for yet another own goal for the Hammers. And then just 5 minutes later, inexplicable, really. A goalkeeper as experienced and credible and usually reliable as Fabianski, just dropping a corner. And Joe Linton, the least prolific striker you'll probably ever see at St James's Park, presented with a gilt-edged opportunity no more than about 3 inches from the line, which he put over to send Newcastle into the half-time interval with a 2-goal advantage. It's looking pretty grim for the Hammers. Of course, we could have gone third this afternoon with a win, Pinky, but where do we go from here?
Desperately trying to salvage a point. I mean, the reality is we're not getting 3 goals this afternoon. The way it's looking, we're not getting 1 goal. It's as simple as that. And has the Newcastle keeper been that busy? Not really. I think 1, maybe 2 saves, not much more than that. Newcastle have absolutely done a job on us here this afternoon, aided and abetted by 2 horrific West Ham United errors. First by Craig Dawson. I mean, the shocking first touch followed by the frankly awful lunge, and everything else that followed after that was, well, I'm sure the manager will be pointing the finger quite firmly at Dawson. And then Lucas Fabianski, I mean, he's been rock solid for us, for most of the time. But today he went the full Roberto, and I'm afraid that's the sort of error that just saps confidence from a team. So David Moyes absolutely got his hands full this afternoon. I mean, you look at his game changes on the bench. Ben Rama, he might do something going forward, but couldn't you really see him tracking back in a 10-man team to do the hard yards? I don't think so. Effectively, defensively, you're then playing with 9 players. Maybe we don't want to do that. Yarmolenko, it's a similar story. Every time he'd come on earlier in the season, the opposition would just target the space in behind him with monotonous regularity and success. So whilst they can change things at 0-0, I don't think they're the players to bring on at 2-0 down. So I think we've got a real uphill struggle here now. Before we go too on in terms of the injury list, how many players are actually injured at the minute, and how much of this is just the fact that the squad is too thin, and we have finally been found out at this stage of the season by a very, very ordinary Newcastle team who have played a really limited game plan, but they've done us by by our own errors. And dare I say it, I'd be very surprised now if we got anything from this game. Very surprised indeed.
Yeah, very much so. Just a quick look at the half-time stats. Possession, Newcastle 30%, West Ham 70%. Incredible stuff, really. Newcastle 11 shots on goal in that first half, 6 on target. Once again, it looks like it's going to be another 20-odd shots against the Hammers if it carries on like that. West Ham 4 shots, just 1 on target so far. I think that was the Dawson header straight at Dubravka on 17 minutes, the only real chance we've had so far. 3 corners for Newcastle, 2 for West Ham. And interestingly, Joe Linton, who scored the second goal for Newcastle there, he's now scored more goals in his last 3 appearances, 2, than he managed in his previous 31. So just kind of backs up what I was saying a few moments ago about, you couldn't have possibly given that to a worse player, that situation. Rio, talk to me about Lucas Fabianski. So reliable since he came to the club a couple of years back. And, as we said, that's just inexplicable. I don't know if you had an opportunity to look at the replay, but Pinky sort of suggested there might have been a nudge from Issa Diop as the ball came over. Did you spot anything there, or did you just think this is one example where, you know, Fabianski's just had a howler?
I just think he's had an absolute howler. He did look comfortable from a couple of the earlier corners. Ogbonna rescued him when he missed one at the start. And that was just completely shocking. For an international keeper of his standing and someone who's done such a sterling job for us, you're not picking moments to make an absolute howler. Absolutely, that's the worst moment we could ever become. I mean, if I was David Moyes, I'd be in the dressing room throwing around a teacup. But bearing in mind that Newcastle is sponsored by Sports Direct Mike Ashley, we've all seen the size of their cups. I'm surprised Moyes will be able to pick one up, let alone chuck it anyway. Yeah, it's all doom and gloom and daggum at the moment. I just can't see a way back. We just looked flat from the off. We didn't look capable of breaking Newcastle down. Bruce has done his homework. He's sat back. He's invited us on. We've got nothing really to offer.
Yeah.
It just picks us off. Then throwing the West Ham comedy defending, which we've seen too much of the last few weeks. And complete recipe for disaster. I can't see no way back here. I mean, we haven't exactly got the option on the bench really to. What we really need is a bulky striker up to try and hold the ball up, bring our attacking players into the game. But Jarrod Bones had a marvellous few weeks scoring goals, but he's not that kind of player. He's not the kind of player we need here. We need something to dig in and fight, and I just can't see it happening.
Not looking good at all. No, Craig Dawson, absolutely exceptional since joining the club on loan during the summer transfer window last year. Signed on a permanent basis a couple of weeks ago, and let's be honest, he's had a bit of a howler. He's been sort of exhibiting more Watford form, you'd say, than early West Ham form.
Yeah, yeah. Perhaps we should have just kept paying loan fees.
Yeah,
to sign it permanently. But yeah, he can have no complaints about the red card. 2 poor challenges, self-inflicted. Just having one of those days. Now, I've just seen the Fabianski goal again. I didn't look for the nudge, but that Pinky seemed to see.
Yeah.
Now, let me just rewind that. Got the old rewind thing on here. I can't use that because there is insufficient disk space. Now, the reason for that is that there are probably 48 million episodes of unwatched Coronation Street on here down at my parents. So I'll have to go. I'll have to do my usual thing when I come down here and give the Sky Plus disc a clear out.
But either way, it's just been calamitous errors from West Ham, isn't it? So I mean, the first one, it's just a bit of bad luck, really. I suppose you could say Diop should have just left, Fabianski to it, got rather too close to him. But, the second one, it's just one of those games, isn't it? And it's all just Rio, and it's all just come at the worst possible moment for West Ham.
I mean, you've got to admit, the writing's been on the wall for the last few weeks. I mean, every game that we've started and played really well the last few weeks, we've come out of the blocks absolutely firing. We've been playing with fluidity, pace, intent. Even though we've been on most of the team that's sitting back and trying to pick off and break away, we've not got the opportunity to play that way this week. And it really shows that it's not our natural game with this set of players.
Yeah.
We had no answers. And as you say, the wheels have fallen off. We didn't have a game plan to deal with Newcastle, their intent just to sit back, soak up the pressure and do to us what we do to many other teams. There's no answer to it. With the lack of numbers on the bench, the lack of a focal striker, we're not got a natural left-sided player out there. That's really telling as well.
Yeah.
It's all ended up to be a bit of a nightmare today. And it's in time under the West Ham tradition. It's come at the worst possible time. We're on the cusp of doing something historic, and the wheels fall off.
They certainly have so far. But, of course, there is another 45 minutes plus added on time, whatever's added on for the Hammers to salvage at least a point and, keep their hopes of qualifying for the Champions League. I just want to briefly, before I come to you, Pinky, I just want to extend on that Joe Linton stat. apparently he scored 5 Premier League goals in total, 2 of which have come in his last 3 appearances. The other 3 came in his first 61 appearances. So red hot form for the man that Newcastle played. I think it was £36 million from for a couple of years back. But yeah, it's just one of those, isn't it? Fabianski's having a howler. Diop scored an own goal. Dawson's been sent off. Joe Linton's scored for Newcastle. Pinky, what else could possibly go wrong this afternoon?
Well, I mean, what the answer is not much, but rest assured, if you look at it, you take out Aaron Cresswell from our team. Quite bizarrely, when you describe, your left back as your main attacking threat, people look at you like you're some kind of idiot. But actually, most weeks, week in, week out, what he provides for us from the left flank, with his pinpoint accurate balls being slung into the middle, are a lot of good opportunities for strikers and forwards to get on the end of. And no Cresswell, no threat down the left flank. That's compounded then by Arthur Masuaku being out, which again, another player that can do a lot of damage down that side of the field. And I don't want to go too hard on the young lad that's come in. Johnson isn't in either of those players' sort of league in terms of attacking threat. He's far less experienced. So we'll be nullified in that sense. You then say the injury to Mikel Antonio, the main goal threat, or at least present, should we say, up top, is missing once again. Declan Rice, just to help screen that back 4. Again, there's not a chance Newcastle would have got anywhere near, the number of shots off in a central position today had Declan Rice been playing. So just 2 or 3 key injuries, and dare I say it, Cresswell, Masuaku, Antonio, Rice, they are absolute certain starters every single week.
Yeah.
So 4 first-team players missing, and we're falling apart. And that to me kind of says, well, Ian Abrams might think that the board deserve credit for getting us this far up the league.
Yep.
But if he feels that, surely he now, if it is him that's making those sorts of comments, needs to be questioning the board as to why with just 4 key injuries does it fall apart when we're chasing the highest position in April for 30 odd years. Yeah, because we should be at this today, but the players clearly before they went on the pitch knew the game was up, because they're looking around the dressing room going, nah, not us lot, not today. Yeah, the squad's too threadbare of the starting 11. And whilst we talked about the options from the bench, that's great, but you've got to have a first 11 that can compete. And today we just haven't been competitive in any sense. Second to everything, we've not been able to impose our game plan on Newcastle United at all. This would be the classic. I mean, it's the first game of the season. I'm saying, thank God we're not there. Because, all the, to trudge up the steps at Newcastle, I'm not joking. Blokes on my size, that's a workout and a half. I can assure you of that. Okay. You're sweating more than any West Ham United players do this afternoon. Let's put it that way. And if we'd had to sit through that and watch it, we wouldn't be happy. No. Very poor. Very poor.
It has been, hasn't it? But Gnome, this has been coming. As Rio said, we've been so poor. Conceded 2 goals against Wolves, of course, 2 goals against Leicester, 3 goals against Arsenal, another 2 goals here today. I'm actually surprised, looking at our pre-match predictions, that I was the only one who felt we'd concede more than 1 goal, given that. But here we are. This is the situation where let's try and be positive, because it's been a fabulous season so far, and there's still time to go. It's not beyond the realms of possibility that we can get back into it. How do we do that? Let's try. Let's between us figure out a plan for West Ham to get back into this game and get something out of it. Yeah,
to put the conceding 2 goals thing into some sort of perspective, my view was that I didn't think Newcastle had 2 goals in them, and so far, really, they haven't. given them 2 goals, haven't we? Let's be honest. Yeah.
Well, we've scored one of them, I suppose you could argue. Yeah.
Yeah. They haven't really created much, and all the shots that you say with these sort of weedy back pass stuff from 40 yards. So
come on, how can we get back into this game? Let's be David Moyes for the next couple of minutes. How do we do this?
I'm just checking to see if they have made any changes. Team's just coming out at the moment. Bear with. We need to be a bit more cute about how to actually break them down. It's not looking like there are any changes. We need to get Lingard on the ball, and we need to get him running at his best. Let him have a run at Shelvey. A run at Shelvey. Shelvey sticks a leg out. Suddenly it's 10 aside. But we need to think about it a bit more. We've not played well.
Come on, I was hoping you'd come up with something a little bit more inventive than let's hope they get 1 sent off, so it's 10 each. Come on.
No. But I mean, the basic point of that was to get Lingard on the ball, running at people.
Yeah, no, fair point. Fair point.
I mean, that was the main thing. I mean, that might. If he runs at Shelvey, that might be a byproduct.
What about substitutions?
A main tactic. So,
what about changes? Who can we bring on to turn this around?
Well, I mean, from an attacking perspective, I mean, you're going to lose some sort of defensive perspective if you bring on either Benrahma or Yarmolenko. But we're 2-0 down. It's a gamble either way. And of course, then you're thinking of goal difference, which might come in to be so important in a few weeks' time. So it's a sort of whatever happens. If you change things, you're going to have a gamble, because changing things from an attacking perspective is you're going to have to sacrifice something defensively.
We are. Well, I mean, we are underway. The second half has begun. No apparent changes, it seems, anyway, so far from David Moyes. So it looks like it might have just been a case of a rocket up the arse so far.
Well, Newcastle had the first shot. That's Almiron again, weedy shot that sort of drifts very, very about 3 or 4 yards wide. But just before that, one thing we've got to stop doing is giving the ball away, and we're doing it now. We've talked about being bereft of ideas and creativity. The long ball play at the back. Okay, we've managed to win it back, and we're on the attack now. But Bowen gets a shot in. Well saved by Dubravka. Could have done with a little bit more oomph, but it's the original ball that was played up there was just, it's just aimless, really. Thankfully, Newcastle gave us back, and that's what put us on the attack again. But let's think about it a bit more. Let's keep possession. Let's make some intelligent runs, not just hit and hope, which is far too much of that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, thinking positive, that was a shot on target from Bowen. It didn't trouble Dubravka, but the Hammers, Rio, at least showing a little bit of attacking intent at the start of this second half, and we're going to need plenty of it, aren't we, in the next 45 minutes or so?
We're going to need it in bucket loads. I mean, personally, I would have taken off Mark Noble at half-time, brought on side Benrahma, say, show me why you're a £25 million player. Show me that attacking intent that made you such a high-profile player in the Championship. Show me where all those goals are coming from. Get at them, run at them, cause them problems. I would have dropped Fornells back a little bit, probably into the more central role. And got Benrahma on and told him to go and cause havoc. If it came off, it came off. If we'd have lost 3-0, 4-0, who cares at the moment? We just need to go all out for the points and salvage something from this game.
Are you surprised, Rio, that Moyes hasn't made any changes at the break there?
I am a little bit, yeah. I mean, I'm just thinking the whole Sports Direct mug thing come into play, and he can't actually lift up the piece of paper, the hand to the linesman, and say, "Right, this is the change I want to make." I mean, them things are massive, aren't they? Who actually uses them?
Yes, fair point. 48 and a half minutes gone. Newcastle United 2, West Ham United 0. The Hammers need a miracle, Pinky, if we're going to get something from this one. But would even a point be enough today?
Yeah, a point would be, because it keeps forward momentum going.
Yep.
It means that we won't have lost. It means that Newcastle won't have taken 6 from us this season. Over half Newcastle's points this season have come from just 3 opponents, and we're one of those 3 as it stands at the minute. I'm very surprised that David Moyes hasn't made a change now, because again, in terms of the message it's sending, effectively he's saying one of 2 things. What I'm watching is acceptable, which I can't believe that's the message he wants to give.
Yeah.
What I'm watching is a better option than what I've got on the bench, which again sends those players the wrong message. 2-0 down in a game that you really, really wanted something from isn't where you want to be. And I can see where Rio's coming from, saying he'd hook Mark Noble. I understand that. I'd be inclined to sacrifice a player at the back. And take someone out of the back line, because whether we lose 2-0 or whether we lose 4-0 doesn't really matter. But why do we need 4 defenders on the field when Newcastle have already got the winning goals? So I'd hook a defender.
Yeah, I mean, especially the way it's gone so far, and Newcastle seem pretty content, don't they, to sit back and soak up the pressure. It's an a very unusual game in that sense, I suppose, with West Ham having 10 men on the pitch, but again still controlling possession. And what was the stat? I think it was 70%, wasn't it? First half possession for West Ham, which Gnome is unprecedented, I think, this season to see that sort of thing. But maybe it was the case against Newcastle earlier in the year, but certainly it's not something we've seen much of since.
Well, bear with me. Lingard's got in promising area, got a shot in, got blocked. It's out to Noble on the right. Bowen's put a cross in. That's woeful. Sorry, Soufal. That's just woeful. He's just overhit that by about. It's halfway back to the Olympic Stadium. Possession, but it's, as we've seen before, it's all very well having possession. But if 90% of that 70% is playing it across the back 4 in your own half, while you're desperately looking for someone to play it to further forward, then the point, meaningless stat.
Yeah, but the point is that it's usually the other way round, isn't it?
Sure. And there's far too much emphasis placed on these possession stats. Now, offside flag was up, I think. Ball was played over the top, but the offside flag was eventually up. So that was Richie sort of bearing down on goal. Now, what's happening here? Friends having a quiet word with Ogbonna. Don't quite know why. I think Friend probably needs a rest. Bless him. It was a bit of a run, that break. So I'll have a word with Ogbonna just to get my breath back. Didn't see it be any. Ogbonna's looking baffled anyway.
Talking of Ogbonna, Rio, as Gnome was just there, what do you make of his first game back from injury so far? So it's obviously a difficult one to judge him by, given that we're 2 down. But generally speaking, what do you make of what you've seen so far? Is he looking like his old self? He's
been incredibly quiet. As you say, it's a bit hard to really kind of pinpoint anything on him because, obviously Dawson's made that awful error, lunging and really shocking.
They're in trouble
He's
here.
been culpable. The others. We haven't really seen much of Enzo apart from that header, which at the far post from the corner, which Fabianski failed to clear.
Yeah.
He's obviously lacking match sharpness. You can tell that a mile off. But you've got to take this now as a little bit of a free hit. Give him 90 minutes under his belt, so a little bit of match fitness back.
Yes, and we were just as we were speaking there, Newcastle broke, but I suppose that's the sort of thing we're going to have to get used to, Pinky. If we want to get back into this game, we are invariably going to leave spaces at the back, and I kind of agree with you. I think in terms of why I'd leave 4 defenders on there now. We're losing the game. We're going we're going down as it stands. Why not have a go? So I'm kind of with you on that one, I think, buddy.
Yeah, absolutely, because if we were the team that were 4th bottom at this point in time and 2-0 down, and those supporters who Ian Abrahams and others think, adversely affect our team's performance, would we be sat there saying, yeah, we're happy with the way this is going, what the manager's doing? Would we say, make a change to try and make something happen? Or would we go, lose 2-0, lose 4-0, lose 6-0, doesn't matter. If you need a point, you've got to get a point. So why haven't we got the attitude of at least trying to get a point when we're aiming for a European spot? And, for my money, yes, Rio made the point, or Gordon did earlier, about the goal difference maybe coming into play at some point. But, Newcastle United are doing an absolute number on here at the minute. And, make something happen, please, David Moyes. I mean, we've had a good season. Let's not see it founder on a 2-0 home defeat to Newcastle and a 2-0 away defeat to Newcastle. Please. I mean, not for my money. I would be making changes right now and say, and if it means we lose 5-0, I don't care.
Yeah.
Try and get something from this game.
Have a crack. Have a go. Why not? Gnome, this I guess if this one does stay, with as it is, or even worse, or if the result stays, in favour of Newcastle, this heaps incredible amounts of pressure on David Moyes and the team for the next game, which of course is at home to Chelsea next weekend. That really would be a must not lose then.
Yeah. Yeah, so you might have seen me throw my head back in exasperation. We had a spell there of about 3 or 4 minutes where we had tons of possession in the Newcastle half, trying to patiently work a move, work a ball through, and then Johnson just wasted it with a really, really poor chip cross that went out. And it's very frustrating. Lingard's on the ball, and first time he's had a run at someone, and he gets pulled down. What I was saying earlier on. The good news is I've just heard from the garden anyway. My mum uttering her famous Irish Dúsa Dúsa chant, which is a good luck thing. Which mum always takes the credit for West Ham winning because she said that. So we'll get a point out of this now. I'm quite confident. My mum has spoken.
Well, I'm quite happy to stick with my 2-2 prediction from before the game, and we're going to have to get our finger out soon, Rio. Time's beginning to ebb away. We're rapidly approaching the hour mark. We need a goal soon, but I mean, just let's sort of speculate here. If West Ham were to pull one back, you kind of get the feeling, I think, that Newcastle might fall to pieces a little bit.
Yeah, and we just had a really good opportunity there. The ball got slid through to Bowen, who had a in behind the defence, tried to flick it past Dubravka, but he made a decent save, and Newcastle on the break. Yeah, I mean, you got to worry that maybe if we do get one back, will Newcastle have the same kind of attitude that we've had, right? When they look a bit brittle when the goal concedes, their heads might drop. You might start wondering, is the impossible going to happen, And conversely, will our players get that bit of belief that we're so desperately lacking? Because that's one of the most frustrating things today. No one out there seems to have any real belief in themselves,
Yeah.
We're frightened to shoot from distance. We're not getting in behind the defence often enough. We're frightened to try the difficult things, to get balls in behind the defence. And we need to be a bit more braver, And that starts the manager as well. Well, I think Pinky's completely right. We need to throw caution to the wind here. Now, at the moment, I'll take off Noble, like I said, for Ben Rama. I'll probably take off Ben Johnson for Lanzini as well, or possibly Yarmolenko, because you can play Ben Rama a bit wider left.
Not intelligent
try
play.
And cover that flank. But we just need creativity in there. We need a bit of ingenuity. I got it right that time. Bit of bravery out there. We need to start going for this and making Newcastle think and work.
Yes, we certainly do. And as we said,
bit of intelligence is another I word. We're not playing with intelligence. We're kind of suckering straight into their hands at the moment. And the balls we are playing, you're playing a player under pressure, and rather than trying to seek a player in space. Like now, we've got Lingard on it, who's had a shot and it's taken a wicked deflection. That's going for a corner. So, of course, no Dawson up for the corner, of course. So we're one short there. I mean, And Lingard just beginning to see a little bit more of the ball. We need to say get him onto it with. Here's the Sky stat about the set piece goals, which has remained on 16 for the last 6 weeks, I think. Johnson cross in. Oh! That really was that's where we wanted to score. Short free corner kick, played back to Johnson. Swings a good cross in. And I thought that took a little touch. Yeah, it has actually. It's another corner. Bonner on the end of it. It did take a flick. So Lingard on the corner again. Another short one taken to Johnson. Goes down the byline, gets in the cross in, blocked again. Another corner. I think we need to start thinking about getting the ball into the box here rather than playing the short one. But good little spell here. Just short of the hour now. Corner taken across, and it's cleared back to Lingard again, who's now looking, curls across in, and again Newcastle are a little bit like the Alamo in there at the moment. Bowen picks it up on the right wing now, doesn't get a good cross in. Ball played out. Soufal finds Lingard. Again, another cross comes in, and Bonner's still up there, but doesn't get the header in, and Newcastle can now try and bring it away.
The hour mark we've just passed. It's still Newcastle United 2, West Ham United. Neil Pinky, it can't be much longer, can it, before those changes come? I mean, we've just seen the one or two West Ham players and Newcastle players, for what it's worth, warming up on the touchline there.
But doesn't mean there's a change. I mean, it just means they're enjoying the northeast climate. Because I can assure you, when I lived in Newcastle, you get the wind blowing off the North Sea, and it would be bitter, in July. Yeah, so in April, it's still pretty cold. But no, I mean, he's got to make the change now because, one or two things could happen here. Newcastle tear up field, get a third, at which point there's no point making a change because we're not going to get 3 goals back to draw from 3-0 down. I mean, who does that? Make the change now. This is so we're looking at Benrahma, Lanzini, and Fredericks. All look like they've had a little chop out. So who knows? He might look to introduce a little bit of pace into the team there with Fredericks and play him slightly further forward. But 30 minutes, and the season is petering out here because how many of those injured players are going to be back in time for the Chelsea game? And who really fancies it against Chelsea? It's not Frank Lampard's Chelsea we're playing next week. It's a rejuvenated Chelsea that we'll be up against, and we need a point today, and it's not coming at this point in time. It really isn't.
Just looking at the other matches in the Premier League this weekend, or at least the ones that affect West Ham United. Chelsea playing against Brighton on Tuesday night at Stamford Bridge. Leeds hosting Liverpool on Monday evening. So, you'd expect Chelsea to win that 1-0, wouldn't you? But Leeds could possibly pose a threat. I mean, they've beaten some good teams this year. And Gnome's not listening.
Sorry, man. I was just checking. We've won a free kick. I was just checking on the perpetrator. Okay. Soufal, long ball played down the line to Soufal, who cleverly headed it past. It was Dummett. Who basically just cut across Soufal, nudge in the back. So free kick, dangerous position out wide on the right wing, and it's I think Bowen and Lingard again looking at it. I think it'll be Bowen runs away, cross played in. It's a poor one, doesn't beat the first man. Out to Johnson on the edge of the box, who just plays for the conversion, gets the conversion. Unfortunately, it's no goal. That was poor at the end. We're looking better. We're getting Lingard on the ball in space rather than playing it to him with his back to goal with a defender sort of right up him sort of thing. Yeah. And he's been able to run on. He's managed to manoeuvre positions to get decent efforts in, which are forced corners. Newcastle making their first substitution. Sam Maximan is affecting a limp, as I say. I mean, whether or not that's I don't want it to look like I'm being substituted for tactical purposes, but it looks a real fake limp, but he's come off anyway.
And who's this coming on? Not him, not
yeah.
him, surely.
It's him, it's Wilson, yeah.
Panic.
Yeah. Well, of course, when they were at Bournemouth, of course, they had Wilson and Fraser, didn't they?
Indeed.
They've got him up here as well. Of course, yeah, Fraser's up here. I think he's injured, isn't he? So at least we won't get that. But no, it's been looking a little bit better without looking sort of. I mean, at the moment, there's only one team looking like they want to score, which is Newcastle. Really can't be bothered. There's the stat: favourite Premier League opponents for Wilson. West Ham, he's got 8 goals against us.
Yes. Well, let's hope it stays at 8 goals. It's certainly going to need to if West Ham are going to get back into this game, Rio. But still no change from David Moyes, and we're down to about 25 minutes to go. Slightly perplexed by that decision?
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. For the last 5 or 6 minutes, we've been much on the front foot. We've been causing a lot of problems, asking a few questions. Yeah. But we really need to change the dynamic. We need to change the way we're thinking, the way we're approaching this game. I'm hoping to be proven wrong here because Fornell was on the break, gone out to Johnson. But Paul Ben Johnson, his lack of left foot has been so evident the last few weeks. Oh, great cross, cut back on his right, brilliant crossover. Soufal gets the header, but it's got no real power to it. But again, it's brighter. We're playing a lot much better in the second half. We're asking a lot of questions. We're just not. We need a little change of direction, a little change of attitude. Injecting a bit more pace, someone naturally left-sided would do us the world of good at the moment.
It's a glorious opportunity for West Ham. Probably the best chance of the game so far, Pinky. But, of all the people it fell to, it had to be Soufal, who obviously isn't a natural goal scorer or an attacker.
Yeah, and this is starting to have the look of, those, so nears. We've had 2 or 3 chances, but none of them have actually looked like going in the back of the net. Meanwhile, you look at Newcastle's goals, and in the reality, we've gifted them to. There's no way of dressing it up.
Yeah.
So, get some players on now, David Moyes, please, because bringing them on in the 85th minute, there's no point. There's no point. Bring them on now. Make a difference now.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think this has just got the hallmarks of almost like a can't be bothered kind of performance. Newcastle, it's a long way, that kind of thing. We just seem lacking any kind of energy, any drive, any real. I've said it earlier. On pitch leadership, it's not there today. It's just not there today. Who in our team is taking the game by the scruff of the neck? None of them. Not one of them today.
Is this in your view because the players just have gone into the wrong mindset this afternoon, or does this all come back more to the fact that you mentioned the 4 first team players that would have walked into that side this afternoon? What's the the biggest factor in that?
Well, I mean, the two go hand in hand.
Yeah.
The players who are out there today know that the players who are missing are absolutely crucial.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to be fair, Declan Rice should be crucial to any team in the land. So, that's no sort of real insight there. But Aaron Cresswell being missing today, it's left a massive hole in our attacking capability, not our defensive capability, our attacking capability.
Yeah.
And without him, we've looked threadbare down the left flank. I mean, just offering nothing. We've made it very, very easy for Newcastle this afternoon. The errors that have led to their goals, they happen. But it's the fact that we haven't done enough at the other end of the pitch. And the manager needs to make something happen now because, got a little more than 20 minutes to go. What's the point in a 2-0 defeat? Why not 4-0? Because, I'd rather lose 4-0 trying to get a point out of the game than just meekly say, well, yeah, a couple of errors, what can you do? Got to do something.
Got to do something, says Pinky. But well, David Moyes, we thought he would have done it by now, but we're more than halfway through this second half. West Ham still trail by 2-0. West Ham still yet to make their first substitution of the afternoon. Not an awful lot of strength on the bench, of course, but we do have options this afternoon. Manuel Lanzini back from injury. Andrei Yarmolenko back from injury. Said Benrahma back from Brentford. But there are options there. You just wonder how. I guess you just sort of wonder how fit Yarmolenko and Lanzini are. Gnome, over to you.
Yeah, we're knocking at the door here. Ball played out from the left to Soufal. Soufal chested it down in good position, drove it across the penalty area, got blocked out for a corner. So another corner, right hand side, and just wait to see what's going to happen here. So right, come on, take it, please. So corner swung across by Bowen, and that's just gone past everybody in a West Ham shirt, cleared by Newcastle. Out to Noble, who plays it back out to Bowen on the right wing. Bowen's going to try and take on somebody, cuts back in, chips in across, but it's straight through to the keeper. We had a frustrating bit, and I think David Moyes, friend was actually having a word with Moyes. Oh, hang on. Newcastle on the break as Johnson misses his challenge. Cross, thankfully, well overhit, goes out for a throw-in. Moyes was expressing a little bit of frustration that West Ham are in a promising position, and it's something that we're seeing creeping into the game quite a lot lately. With all the talk about head injuries, any player who wants to sort of break up the pattern of the game, we just saw Joe Linton. Ogbonna sort of ended up stepping over him, and Joe Linton was clutching his head. So Friend eventually stopped the game when he saw Joe Linton going like that. Yeah, the physios come on to make it look good, don't they, and tapping his head and all that. But it wasn't a head injury. There's nothing there. And, Newcastle suddenly get their 11 players behind the ball or 10 players behind the ball, and 11 when Joe Linton comes on.
Yeah.
And it is frustrating. There's a good ball inside the fullback. Soufal's there, gets the cross in. No, it's blocked. Another corner. Soufal sort of has a big puff, having got onto the end of that. It's a lovely ball inside the fullback there. And a change. Benrahma is stripped and ready to come on. I think they'll wait until the corner's been taken. And corner comes across, and again it doesn't seem. Dubravka punches away. Johnson has a shot from the edge of the box, blocked. Keeping it live, pushes out now to Noble, who tries to put the ball out to Bowen, and it's just cut out. Throw it to West Ham. Bowen on the ball now, looking to chip a ball in.
Score.
Yes. Yes.
There it is.
It was coming.
There it is. Come on, you Irons. West Ham back in the game. Rio, you thought it might be coming. We've got 20 minutes to get another one.
We have been knocking on the door, as Gnome says, for quite a while now, but everything has been going to waste. We get a ball in, crosses it in. It's a Diop with a nice little header. Not a power behind it, but it's very perfectly well placed. Just beating Dubravka, who really should be doing better, if you ask me.
There's no VAR on
A few elbows strain here, but it should be absolutely fine, surely.
You can't score. Yeah, you can't score a goal with your hand.
The ball is in the back of the net anyway. West Ham think they've scored, but VAR is just checking.
It's been sorted. It's a goal.
It's a goal. It's a goal.
The England team would disagree with that, Gordon. That's for sure.
Sorry?
There's a pretty good England team from years gone by that would disagree with that statement that you can't score a goal with your hand.
Yeah. Well, I could think of one of the early games that I saw. A certain striker, after whom this chap is named, scoring 6 in a game, the first of which he punched in against Sunderland. So, right, come on, West Ham, show your
Here we
stuff
go.
now.
Here we go. West Ham right back in this game now. The Hammers, it's Newcastle United 2, West Ham United 1. Issa Diop making up for that appalling error in the first half to nod rather nonchalantly, you'd say, past Dubravka to halve the deficit and put West Ham right back in it. Rio, we did say earlier, you know, we questioned how Newcastle's resolve would be, how strong Newcastle's resolve would be if West Ham were to get back into the game. We're going to find out now, aren't we?
Yeah, very much so. And Noble's the one going off for Ben Rama. Yeah, we've been on the front foot here for the last 20 odd minutes. The amount of corners and set pieces we've floated into the box, and they've not looked particularly confident dealing with Newcastle. We've asked a lot of questions here. It's just we've been lacking real kind of power and direction. That's the one that counts. Now let's see if the cracks open up. Let's get in their heads, you know. They ain't going to be confident now. They ain't going to fancy this because they've seen what we've done to teams in the last few weeks. Now, going forward, we're something to be reckoned with. We just need to change that dynamic, and we're getting in amongst it now.
I've just had a message come through, by the way, from my good mate Dave. I mentioned former chairman of their supporters club, and it's just said, "Now you see why I loathe Steve Bruce." Alan, I don't know if you're watching this, Dave, but Alan, mate. 15
minutes to go for the Hammers to make Dave's afternoon even worse with an equaliser. It's on the cards, I think, Pinky. But Ben Rama's the man. You know, we've spoken about him for some weeks now, saying that, you know, he hasn't really lived up to that big signing on fee. What an opportunity for him to do so this afternoon.
Yeah, and you know, players will be very quick to complain about not getting any opportunities, not getting pitch time. Well, there you go. You've got 20 minutes, Syed. Show us what you can do, and I hope he does. Because, you know, ultimately, that's the other. You expect a player to come on and change things, and let's see what he can do. If he doesn't, he doesn't. But I think absolutely right that the manager's brought him on and said, "Oh, do your stuff."
Now, we might have a penalty here. You know, Cross has come across, and the defender's led with his arm, and it's come off his arm.
Do we have a check?
Now, this is VAR. Of course, Noble's just gone off. Penalty taker. He's going to have a look at this now. Then.
It looks pretty clear cut, doesn't it? It's clearly off his lower.
That's a penalty for me. But
come off it. You know, I mean, I want that point.
Current climate, he's going to give that.
Well, we'll see. We're all crossing our fingers here and hoping that he is, but
he's got he's armed it away. He's armed it away.
Gnome's convinced. No, as you can see, Gnome is absolutely convinced it's a penalty. Come on, Kevin, be our friend. Give us this one. Come on. What's going to happen? West Ham need another goal to get back into it. 2-1 down.
Yes.
Big moment. And it is. It's a penalty.
Right.
Who's going to take it?
Moyes, you've taken Noble off to bring on Ben Rama. What were you doing?
What are you doing?
So who's taking the spot kick now? I guess Jesse Lingard or Bowen.
It's got a Lingard, perhaps, once again. I mean, he's scored already with a penalty. But, yeah, exciting stuff. The Hammers 2 goals down. Could be 2-2. No, we'll go over to you for this one, live.
Yeah, well, they're taking the time because, again, we had another Newcastle player clutching his head. And again, yeah, obviously the physio's got to make it look good. And he was down in the box and they were just doing the old rotating the head, making it look good. So there may be a little bit of a delay. And it looks like Lingard stood over the ball. And of course, now the player with the, in inverted commas, head injury, close inverted commas, is going to milk that for as long as he can. Lingard's penalty record, 3 penalties taken, 2 missed, 1 scored. So, well, yeah, I mean, they're going to take a while. They're going to make him wait as long as possible. It's
we're all feeling it. We're all feeling it here. I'm sure you're all feeling it.
What time's your appointment for your jab, Jeff? 6 o'clock, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. But okay, we've managed to get the player off. Now the goalkeepers obviously stood over the penalty spot as they do, and various Newcastle players now sort of stood in the box. Lingard, put it away, mate.
Come on, Jesse. Come on, my son. Need a drum roll. It's all gone very quiet.
Oh, come on. Go on, Lingard. Fabianski's down on his knees saying, yeah, help me out here, guys.
Yes.
I'm relying on you guys because I'm 15 seconds
Yeah,
behind,
well-
so keep talking.
Yeah, he's finally got Dubravka back inside. Lingard goes up. Shoot it in!
Get in there! Come on! Newcastle United too.
Yes, but he's doing his little dance. He's doing a Lingard dance here.
The Hammers are back. 2 goals behind at half-time. The Hammers are back on level terms. It's yet another remarkable match in what is an increasingly remarkable season. And there's still time to go. Could we have another one yet?
No, we win this,
game yet, surely.
Let's go for a win here.
10-man West Ham. 2 goals behind at half-time. Incredible season. Pinky, what do you make of all that then?
I mean, what an absolutely absurd game of football. I mean, Newcastle United going the full West Ham impersonation today. Yeah, they copy our tactics. They've hit us on the break for, in the first half, and they're now emulating our typical, performance when we're 2-0 up and comfortable somewhere, and they give away a couple of relatively soft goals. I mean, they really are taking it to the extreme, the impersonation this afternoon. But I mean, you nailed it earlier. This Newcastle team could be quite fragile and they could fall apart. And, joking apart, with 10 minutes to go, I might be tempted just to keep playing as we are and try and nick a winner here, because how many times over the years have we been mugged, utterly mugged in this sort of circumstance? So why not us do it to someone else today? So come on, West Ham, everything to play for.
Yeah, very much so. And there's still plenty of time to go, of course, for a winning goal. Just under 9 minutes left in this one. Of course, West Ham could still go third in the Premier League. It looked like that wasn't going to happen at half-time when Newcastle led 2-0, but goals from Issa Diop and Jesse Lingard in the 73rd minute have pulled us back level. But no.
Cleared off the line.
I can't believe that.
Oh, we were in trouble there, but
take us through it, no.
Well, they had 2-on-1 at the back, understandably, with us down to 10 men. Ball was squared across. I'm not sure it was, but they completely fluffed their lines. The ball came out to the edge of the box. Shot came in. It was blocked on the line. Might have been Soufal, I think. Now another cross in. Oh no!
Oh, God's sake!
Oh.
Would you believe it?
Yeah. It's the first time Newcastle have attacked all game.
It's only Newcastle's 4th shot of the second half, but it's put them back in front by the looks of it, no?
Looks like it. Cross comes in. Well, now let's have a look at that push on Ogbonna. Well, there's a blatant push on Ogbonna in the middle of that, which, why there's no VAR on that? Ogbonna's had 2 hands snubbed in his back. That's Willock who'd just come on as a substitute. No justice.
It's blatant, actually. I'm just seeing the replay here, and it's the clearest push in the back you've ever seen. I'm amazed that there's no review on that one, really. Absolutely amazed. But it's a good finish, though. I think it will. But as it stands, anyway, Rio, we've come from the clutches of inevitable defeat to get back on level terms, and here we are again, staring defeat in the face. It just sums up this season, doesn't it? Incredible stuff.
It does completely. But this game's not over yet, and there's only 5 or 6 minutes left. We just got to regroup again. Just come at it again, cause some problems. We've seen how bad they are at the back. Let's just go and ask them questions. It was a cracking header
back
by
to
Willock, you've got to say, but
Bonner got shoved in the back for a
this
goal.
side has terrified me for the last 3
weeks.
weeks, West Ham, but for completely different reasons. I just don't have my nerves can take anymore. This is the 4th game announced. It's not good for me. Not good for me at all.
Pinky, there we were talking about a possible West Ham winner, and Newcastle go straight up the other end and score what appeared to be, though, a very dubious 5th goal of the game.
Yeah, I mean, an obvious push on Ogbonna, want to go flying, and you know, they'll be patting themselves on the back for spotting the penalty, and which, you know, nobody spotted perhaps with the naked eye in real time. But then you get something that's as obvious as that, and you know.
No, sorry. I mean, I think we are in grave danger of drifting into our claret and blue tinted spectacles. Every decision here. You know, let's look at the player that actually scored with the header, and who should have been challenging him, and how did he get into that position where the man who should have been challenging him, clearly lacked the awareness that he was coming in behind him. And you know, however much we cling to the life raft of, you know, the foul on Ogbonna, plain fact is, notwithstanding that, if the guy behind him had done his job, there's no goal. I'd also call out Vlad the Lad Soufal for the cross that came in. It was the most half-hearted attempt to stop a cross coming in. You know, call it what it is. It's bad defending, and that's what happens when your main sort of centre back on the day gets sent off in the first half. Your defence falls apart, and we were poor there. And not disputing that on another day Ogbonna might have got a foul there, but do you know what? Don't hang your hat on it. Bad defending cost us that goal.
Well, we've got some more bad news. Is that Lingard's on the back and it's not looking good.
No, I was just going to say, it looks like he's clutching his hamstring there initially.
Well, I think it may be more the knee, the way they're bending the knee. It looks more like the knee. Lanzini's stripped and ready to get off, ready to come on, but Lingard's now getting up. He is clutching the back of his thigh there. I think that's going to be the last we see of Lingard. Time for another Lanzini screamer into the top right-hand corner then.
Yes. And it has to be quick. We haven't got much time left. Of course, that moment I'm referring to at the season when West Ham were 3-2 down, and Manuel Lanzini smashing that equaliser in right at the end in another game that finished 3-3. Been a couple of those this season, a couple of 3-2s, and unfortunately West Ham are on the wrong end of one at the moment. Lingard limping off, as Gnome was just pointing out there a few seconds ago, and Manuel Lanzini coming on to replace him. Gnome, can we get back into this again?
Well, a fair bit of injury time because we've got a couple of, well, there ought to be. Yeah, come on, let's say yeah. We just need to be acute about it though, and obviously not get caught. I mean, I think 3-2 flatters Newcastle. In fact, any sort of league flatters Newcastle at the moment. 4-2 would just be silly, but as well, sorry, I just thought something was going to happen there, but it wasn't. And David Moyes was almost going to grab the ball there to bring it into touch, but I don't think it was quite going to go. But anyway, Bruce complains about it, as is his wont. So we regroup. We're on the ball, but deep in West Ham territory. 2 minutes plus, I'd say maybe 4 of stoppage to go. But we're not hanging on to the ball at the moment. But Bowen does well to win it back there, and Lanzini picks up the ball now. That's good work from Bowen and Lanzini there. Fornals plays it out wide. Soufal's there back into Fornals, but he's got nowhere to go. And Newcastle, if they were sitting everybody behind the ball before, and they certainly are now. Ben Rama now, what can he do?
He hasn't done a lot so far, has he, since he come on? Actually, he hasn't really been involved all that much. But I mean, Rio, it's West Ham
Ben Rama's got a
conceded,
foot in there, mate.
9 goals in the last 4 games, and really, when you're conceding that heavily, you're always going to struggle to put points on the table, as it were.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, today's 2, or the first 2 today, were absolute gifts, and you cannot afford to do that. If you've got any kind of European aspirations, you have to be better than we were in that first 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Threadbare squad or not, you have to be better. In the most gutting things, we've played so well in the second half, we forced our way back into it, and we got sucker punched straight away. It's just so disappointing, isn't it? And it's just so typical West Ham. Yeah.
Kind of reminds me of, I'm sure all of us will remember it, but do you remember, I think it was the 1979 FA Cup final, Arsenal, Manchester United, Arsenal.
The 5-minute cup final.
The 5-minute cup final. Arsenal 2-0 up with 5 minutes to go. Man United getting back to 2-2. They'd barely ceased the celebrations when, was it Alan Sunderland from a Graham
Alan
Riggs
Sunderland, who
up at the other end and nodded the winner.
He lives in Malta now, I believe.
But similar sort of game. But yeah, we're moving into added on time now, Pinky, and have we used up all our luck today, do you think?
I'll be more inclined to say if it wasn't for bad luck, we haven't had any luck at all this afternoon.
8 minutes of stoppage. I said there'd be a fair few.
Wow.
I'm not a big believer in luck and all the rest of it. The plain fact of the matter is we made horrendous errors for the first 2 goals, and we played much better to get back into it. I think the penalty, whilst you're saying is clear cut, you depending on a TV screen giving us a spot kick. That's the long and the short of it.
Yeah.
So for my money, maybe that was fortunate. I'd go as far as that. But we then just, brain dead. I mean, such bad defending for their only legitimate goal. What were we doing? And I don't know. We might squeeze another opportunity, but if we do, I have to say, I then say settle for that, because I don't think we've done enough to deserve a win today. I don't think Newcastle really have, although they've had a much clearer game plan than we've been able to show today. So
wasteful,
just an aimless ball,
aimless ball
there. What's the point? For me today, this just shows we've got a first team, but that's it.
Yeah,
the rest of it,
No, West Ham, did West Ham shoot themselves in the foot? Having, we made that reference to Arsenal, but did we shoot ourselves in the foot by sort of not just, having equalised and got it back to 2-2 by, not just sort of sitting back for a bit and assessing the situation?
Well, we did to a certain degree. We were sitting back and then letting Newcastle come on us, and that was the problem. I think we should have been more on the front foot.
Yeah.
Poor again. We've gone into not keeping hold of the ball mode again, and it's not great. Soufal gives it a ball away down in the corner, and which is where Newcastle will keep it for the next 7 minutes. And Newcastle, Soufal was a bit angry. Newcastle player thrown himself to the floor, and he's made sure his knees are on the pitch. Let's put it that way, so that they can't say play on.
Yeah, it's a pretty ludicrous one, but this is what you get. This is what's going to happen. Of course, Newcastle, this is a huge game for them, Rio, because win this and they're pretty much assured of Premier League survival this season. So you can understand why we're seeing this now, and we're going to see it for the next 4 or 5 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, they come out with a game plan today just to contain. They'll be happy with a point. We give them 2 goals. They'll be absolutely delighted with this, They've actually shown a little bit of backbone here trying to get their third with a legitimate decent move they made all game.
Yeah.
And now they're going to sit in the corner and probably camp out the next half hour. But yeah, no, it's just deeply disappointing. We played so well against all the top teams and got results against most of them. To be undone and possibly miss out on European a top 4 stop because we couldn't beat Newcastle home and away would be almost devastating, because Newcastle really are a poor side.
Yeah, almost Glenn Roder.
Oh, it's a lovely ball from Johnson now. Ben Rama out wide on the right. Cuts in. Loses the ball. He's just terrible ball control from Ben Rama. We've won it back though. Cross comes in. It's deflected. Oh, that's a slice. That could have gone literally anywhere. It's a corner with 4 minutes or so to go. I'm sorry, I had to laugh back there because the Newcastle won a free kick right in the corner, and the referee did all the stuff with the paint and the foam and stuff. And it's like they're going to cross that one in injury time when 3-2 up. Yeah, that probably wasted more time than Newcastle did. Anyway, corner out on our left.
Last chance maybe for West Ham.
Well, still another 3 minutes after this. Fredericks is on. I don't know who's come on for. Corner swung. It's a terrible corner. And it's cleared away. It doesn't really beat the first man. Fredericks wins the ball back. Ball played forward. It's out for a throw-in. Fredericks is on for Johnson, we've been told.
So we're really at the death now. West Ham need a miracle.
Comes up, goes out harmlessly for a goal kick.
And it's not coming on that particular occasion.
Which, of course, Brad Crew's now deciding which of the 2 or 3 balls he's got to choose from would be the best one. And Newcastle, Murphy, I think, has been booked there. I think that's probably for time wasting.
But changing your boots is okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not looking good for the Hammers. We need a miracle now. Maybe one last chance. A couple of minutes left. That's all it's going to be. That's all they're going to get. One more chance if we're lucky. No.
It took 48 seconds for that goal kick to be taken. While they're talking about time wasting, Soufal's lost the ball there, and they're going to get that stashed out the corner flag and keep it there as usual.
Oh dear. Come on, West Ham.
West Ham are bringing it away now. Nice little ball there. Bowen's looking for play it long. He's hoisted it forward, straight down the defender's throat. But we've got to throw in. So Carroll's coming on, which is good because that'll add another 30 seconds to the proceedings.
Yeah.
Right. Joe Linton.
That's the point, isn't it? It won't.
Yeah, it should do. But Joe Linton, whose devastating head injury seems to have cured all right, but he's now he's doing that thing. He was walking off. The referee's blown his whistle to speed him up, and he's done that sort of jogging thing that's even slower than the walk that he was doing. So Carroll's coming on. He'll be there to bolster the defence really more than anything else.
Seconds ebbing away. Time ticking away for West Ham. Need a miracle now, as we said, last few seconds of this game. 8 minutes added on. There might be a little bit more because of that substitution, but we need something desperately. Well, we're just desperate, quite frankly, now for an equaliser.
Oh.
Coming. It's not coming.
Not happening today.
Oh.
Not happening today.
Wilson's on the ball again. He's got to the edge of the box. He's got all the way through, but he's run into traffic. And we managed to get it clear. Right. We're now in stoppage, added for stoppage. Well, that substitution he added precisely 4 seconds on for. Thanks, ref.
That is the final whistle at St James's Park. And it's not good news for West Ham and their fight for a Champions League spot, or even just to finish as high as possible in the Premier League. We could have gone third with a win at St James's Park this afternoon. It's ended in defeat for the Hammers, despite a spirited second half comeback. Newcastle took the lead in the 36th minute, and a mix-up with Fabianski and Diop, a shot coming in saved by Fabianski, turned over his own line inadvertently, rather accidentally by Diop, coming off the back of his right ankle. But it counts nonetheless. And then 5 minutes later, Joe Linton scoring the 5th goal of his career for Newcastle, the 2nd in the last 3 games, apparently. And he won't have an easier chance. A corner swung in from the right-hand side, dropped in Roberto style by Fabianski. I'm currently being attacked by a wasp. That's yellow and black stripes as opposed to black and white stripes, but we'll keep an eye on that one. And Joe Linton hooked it over the line to make it 2-0 to Newcastle, and that's how it stayed until the break. West Ham, of course, had already been reduced to 10 men when Craig Dawson, already booked in the 12th minute for a foul on Joe Linton, was sent off for a lunge on the halfway line after some poor control by the central defender, leaving West Ham with a massive uphill task for the second half. Credit to David Moyes. We said at half time that, it's been a season of surprises and don't rule the Hammers out just yet. And briefly, we thought we might escape. 73 minutes had gone when a deep cross was nodded home by Issa Diop, kind of amending in some ways for that first half error to give West Ham a chance in the game. And then 6 minutes later, ball swung into the box and it was a handball. Went to VAR. VAR checked. Kevin Friend, the referee, went to check it on the touchline and had no hesitation in awarding a spot kick, which Jesse Lingard duly stepped up to slam home into the left-hand side of the post of the net to record his 9th goal in a West Ham shirt. West Ham back from the brink, 2-0 down at half-time, back to 2-2 with only 10 men. We were all sitting here thinking, well, could West Ham go and actually win this game? Wasn't to be, because no less than 3 minutes later, Willock nodded home. Although, and I'm sure this is something we're going to discuss in the next few minutes, it looked like a clear push on Angelo Ogbonna as the ball came into the box. But nonetheless, it was a firm header. And that was it. That was the goal that won the game for Newcastle. It pretty much assures them of a Premier League berth next season. And as for West Ham, our Champions League hopes have been given a huge knock this afternoon. Pinky, just one of those games. It didn't work out for the Hammers, not really at the races this afternoon. And, we almost fought our way back into it, but, it wasn't to be at the end. And quite frankly, we probably didn't really deserve anything, did we, on that performance?
No. And the game was basically gone in the first half. I think we had a poor attitude, compared with what we've had for the last 6 months, that's for sure. Normally we're out the blocks and at the opposition. Today, there was a touch of manana about it. There was a touch of dare I say it, well, it's only Newcastle, lads. And the first half, we were doing almost everything wrong. I mean, the individual errors, yes, they can happen, but we didn't do nearly enough in the opening 45 to trouble their defence. Second half, I thought we got ourselves out of jail a bit. We pulled it back to 2-2.
Yeah.
But the defending for their 3rd goal, it was Newcastle's only real legitimate attack, and Soufal does nothing to shut the cross down to come in. Yes, Ogbonna's had a bit of a nudge, but I'm afraid Willock, or whatever his name is, has managed to come in. And young Ben Johnson, he's having a snooze, doesn't realise he's there. In he comes from behind him, buries the ball in the net, and the game is up. We got what we deserved today, which was nothing. I don't think Newcastle deserved very much, if I'm being honest with you.
Yeah.
And it was just one of those days where a poor game of football and the team with the slightly better game plan, came out on top. But for us, any thoughts of top 4 now? That's it. It's done. And you can't be losing.
So? You really think?
Yeah, you can't drop 6 points to Newcastle United. This Newcastle United, and think you're going to qualify for a Champions League spot. It's not happening, because if today we're saying, nearly half the first team squad or the first team are missing, well, you could probably add Jesse Lingard to that list now. So it is half the first team missing next week. And do you fancy us against Chelsea, really, when they need to win to get into the Champions League? I can't say it.
I do actually, because that would be so very West Ham, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, but normally when it's so very West Ham, it's the league position is desperate. We've got at least got the players available.
Yeah,
this time the league position is decent. We just haven't got the players available. And anyone watching that this afternoon, yeah, I hate slaughtering the younger players, but the young Johnson isn't quite ready for the first team yet. He really isn't. You know, and that whole left side today offered nothing. You know, yes, good news. We've got Angelo Ogbonna has come back in today, but now we'll miss Craig Dawson for the next game, which means once again we have the positively infuriating Issa Diop will be playing in central defence because he does some good things in some games, but you need centre backs that don't make mistakes. And today, both our centre backs really, or two of them today really made huge errors. And Diop, you know, a drag back that was utterly sublime. I mean, if we had a striker that could do that today, would have been happy. And Craig Dawson, his first touch just before he hacked down the Newcastle guy for which he got the red card, a shocking first touch. And I thought in the first half, loads of our players were off it in terms of poor first touch, poor distribution, struggled to find a teammate with a pass, couldn't pick a pass that unlocked the opposition. Dreadful first half, not much better second half, and we got what we deserved, which was nothing. Absolutely.
Okay. All right, fair enough. Rio, now, Newcastle United 3, West Ham United 2. Your immediate post-match thoughts on what you've just seen in the last 90, well, it's actually about 101 minutes, I think, altogether.
I think Pinky summed it up perfectly. We went into the game and everything positive we've done all season in terms of intent, the way we set up, the way we play, it was lacking. Against teams that we had to take go on the front foot and take the game to them, we struggle every single time. Newcastle just sat back, happy to soak up the pressure, hit on the counter, which is what we do to teams, and we do it really effectively. When the boot's on the other foot and we have to be on the offensive, we have to think, we have to be creative, we have to be positive. We were lacking, and not one single player really stood out for me, as he rightly said, throughout the game. There's no leadership. No one wanted to take the game by the scruff of the neck. They want to organise us and get into the players' heads that we have to take initiative. We have to be clever in our play. We have to be intelligent. We were lacking every single department. Then, when you think you're reading the storm a bit and you're getting into the game, you go and concede 2 horrendous goals like that. You have a brainless sending off. I mean, Craig Dawson really has got to look himself here. Because that first one, he took one for the team. He dove in. But his touch for the second one was absolutely shocking. Don't dive in the second time. You're not some naive young kid. You've been playing at the top level for a long, long time. You know the red card's coming. And he's cost us a game now. You know? With 11 men on the pitch, we were struggling. We didn't have the ideas to break them down. With 10, it was an impossible cause. And you're 2-0 down, you get back into the game, and then you just switch off for one second after being on the second half. We had the upper hand. We were much better. But it took far too long to get that first goal. Something like kind of air of fortune about that, as Pinky said. If you're relying on VAR to give you penalties, it wasn't clear cut. Up until 2 or 3 seasons ago, you would watch that match of the day going, oh, maybe we should, maybe we shouldn't. It'd be debate about it. Now everything is too clinical and we got given it. I'm not moaning. Actually, I'm moaning about that. He's like, please don't give it Jesse Lingard because his record is pretty shocking. And I was absolutely in bits watching him step up to take that.
He played well though, didn't he?
He did. It was a good penalty. But when Sky put up that little stat with the goal thing, he's taken 3 penalties and 2 of them missed.
Yeah.
You just automatically think, my God, can we bring Noble back on just for 5 seconds, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Then we switch off and, you know, you can argue there's a push in the back and Ogbonna, which, yeah, but, you know, it's one of them things. But the cross should have been blocked. Players should be stronger, particularly Ben Johnson, who, for all his endeavour, and he's as West Ham fans, you always want to see a young kid come in and you will them on. You will them on and you will them on. You want them to be great because they're one of your own.
Yep.
But since the turn of the year, he's looked pretty much out of place. He looks like he doesn't belong at the Premier League level at the moment. He needs possibly a year out on loan just to kind of beef himself up because he got bullied there today. Mm. And every time he went down the left-hand side, his lack of left foot was so evident. He checked back every single time. And he put in one decent cross. But apart from that, it was easy for Newcastle to snuff out. You know, every time the ball went down the left-hand side, they had nothing to do, really. It was pretty shocking.
Yeah. I mean, can I just ask you, Rio? Sorry, just quickly. I mean, we never really give, or not us, but I mean, I'd say the fan base as a whole probably doesn't give Aaron Cresswell enough credit at times. And is that another case of you realise just how important he is to the team when he's not playing, as opposed to when he's out there? Given what we had out there.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, the lack of a left-sided player was just so evident today. It was unreal.
Yeah.
Cresswell gets absolute pelters. Right? And we've debated it on here time and time again. Yes, it's not the Aaron Cresswell we first got. Age and injuries are creeping up on him, but he offers a balance to that left-hand side of the defence.
Yeah.
Yes, he's not the greatest player in the world, but he was good enough to earn 2 England caps while playing for us. Mm-hmm. He's never ever got the credit he really deserves. And, you know, when he isn't playing, his delivery from set pieces, the balance he gives us, you know, without any kind of other option on the realistic option on the bench or in the squad to kind of step into the breach.
Yeah.
We looked a poor side without him today.
Certainly did. Gnome, I can see you're chomping at the bit to have your...
only because I'm going to have to go in a second.
Post-match thoughts. Okay.
Yeah. I'm going to differ with Pink here. I thought we were worth the point. Second half, Newcastle added nothing to the attacking game other than the goal, which, as we've mentioned, big element of let's ignore that push going on in there. Well, we should what I've been saying at this point every week, ignore the league position, put that one away. But let's have a quick look and still laugh at Tottenham, and stop laughing at Tottenham on Tuesday. Just get ready for the next game. Let's see who's fit for next week first, because the injury list is getting longer and longer, and with no depth, something we've debated ad nauseum on this forum. It'd be interesting to see what we can put out. I do look forward to a certain obese radio presenter coming out and explaining exactly why the lack of squad depth that eventually cost us today, and it was going to happen, is not the fault of the owners. That's if he can stop eating for long enough. But anyway, disappointing. Roll up sleeves, go again next week.
Yeah, very much so. Chelsea, of course, it is. We'll come to that in due course. The first goal.
The Thrower family are going to have to bid their farewells at this point. So say goodbye, Jeff.
Yeah. Well, there you go, Jeff. You take care, buddy. Yeah. And Mr. Thrower and Mr. Thrower and Mr. Thrower.
Yeah, that behind me is doing ironing, believe it or not.
That might be a first. That might be a first for our stream.
Live ironing on our stream.
Congratulations.
Anyway, thanks a lot, guys, and catch up with you next week.
Well, there you go. See you soon.
Cheers, guys.
Okay, that's Gnome and Co. Disappearing off for the day when he can find the button. So let's take a quick look at the goals in today's game, Pinky. We touched on it briefly a few moments ago, but the first goal, 36 minutes. Craig Dawson hadn't been sent off at that point, but he was a few seconds later. A terrible lunge by Dawson, lost control of the ball. The ball played through the centre, and the shot coming in. Fabianski making a reasonably decent save, but Diop sort of just getting those lanky legs in the way, and it was a bit of a comedy of errors, wasn't it, altogether?
Yeah, and well, first a bit of credit to Mark Noble here, because after Dawson had lunged in and basically taken himself out of the game by being on his backside, Noble had done the hard yards. He'd run back, and he was the player that forced Alan St. Maximum wide. So he made the angle difficult for the striker, and in doing so should have made the angle much more comfortable for the goalkeeper. Fabianski did okay in terms of getting down, but just comedy stuff from Mr. Diop. Credit him for heading back towards the line, but he got his feet all mixed up, and it was just a drag back that was, he'll probably his mum's probably taped it thinking great goal, son. Yeah, it'll be one of those, He'll have got back to the dressing room, and his mum would have sent him a text message saying great finish. No doubt about it. So an absolute comedy moment. You can't really credit Newcastle with the goal. Definite West Ham United own goal.
Again,
no doubts about it.
Yep.
And then dare I say it, the Fabianski one. I mean,
well, yes, yeah. I mean, of course, they scored the opening goal from the final touch coming from a yard out, and exactly the same thing happens 5 minutes later. The corner comes in, Fabianski channeling Roberto, and what was he doing? You mentioned at the time you felt there might have been a slight nudge from Diop, in his back, but we I think we've been a bit generous to him, aren't we?
Just a touch, because you know what. If a top-class goalkeeper can't cope with that, the faintest of touches from your own player, call it what it was a bad handling error by Fabianski. He's got his hands on the ball, he's let the ball go, and we've seen him do that a few times, but not actually when he's surrounded by a group of players.
Yeah.
And I'm afraid, goalkeeper error, full stop. And he knew it. He absolutely knew it. And when we had the spot kick, no one was praying harder than Fabianski to see us convert it.
Yeah, one of those. So there it was. So West Ham 2 down at the break, Rio, and it was all doom and gloom. 10 men on the pitch, 2 goals down. It's one of those where in seasons gone by, perhaps West Ham United would have crumbled and maybe gone on to lose 4 or 5. But, this is a team, regardless of what's happened today, this is a team made of stronger stuff. And it took a while, and we didn't get any substitutions before it happened, but 73 minutes gone. Really good cross coming in from the right. You can remind me who it was who provided the cross. And there was Issa Diop to kind of atone in some ways for that earlier error to pull West Ham back to 2-1.
Yeah, I'll try to remember. I think it was Soufal put the cross in. Can't actually remember correctly because I was just so stunned it was given. And the aftermath with the VAR decision, I got kind of lost with all that. But yeah, as I said, you rely on VAR. A couple of years ago, you would have gone back match of the day that night and thought, well, maybe it was, maybe it wasn't, but we didn't get it that day. I think VAR makes things far too clinical for my liking, but that's a different debate for a different day.
Yeah.
With Mark Noble off the pitch, upstairs Jesse Lingard, whose record from spot kicks isn't the most flattering for a professional footballer. And his only previous one for us was saved. All right, we got the rebound in, but it didn't fill me with confidence. I mean, to be honest, I'm not a confident man when we have penalties anyway. Since the days of Ray Stewart and Julian Dix, who, when they hit the ball, if the keeper got a hand to it, the keeper's invariably going in the back of the net with the ball.
Yep, indeed.
Mark Noble, bless him, has got an impeccable record of penalty taking for West Ham. Absolutely impeccable. But even then, when he takes them, I'm still a bag of absolute nerves, you know, and I shouldn't be when Mark Noble took a spot kick.
Yeah.
But yeah, Jesse did it. And to be fair to him, it was an absolute cracker.
Mhm.
No, it couldn't have placed it any better. And the belief was on, you know. The
Yeah.
backbone was there, the fighting spirit,
Yes.
the togetherness, you know. After an incredibly difficult first half, we'd regrouped and we got ourselves back in the game. And
Yeah. So there we were. So
as I said during the commentary.
Sorry, Rio, go on. Sorry. My apologies.
Look,
Go on. Please
no, as I
carry on.
said during the commentary,
Hmm.
these last 3 or 4 games for us have been incredibly stressful.
Yep.
For various reasons, you know. The Arsenal game was stressful because when you go 3-0 up against a team of that, I would say pedigree, but Arsenal haven't got a pedigree, of that reputation, let's say, you know, and a team that's continually put one over us for so many years that it's created a bit of an inborn hatred of me of that team, you know, and to cave in and lose those 3 goals at the end, I walked away absolutely distraught after that game, absolutely distraught. Then we have the Wolves game where we go 3-0 up again, race into a lead, defend like idiots, and cause complete panic in me. Then the Leicester game, 3-0 up, coasting, 20 minutes to go. What happens? They put me on the cardiac waiting list. You know, it's just so incredibly stressful. Then we do this today. We go 2-0 down, not looking like we've got a chance in hell. Give us hope, that forlorn hope that a West Ham fan can only have. And in typical time on the West Ham tradition, there's no happy ending this week.
No, of course there wasn't, because we were all doing jigs and dances of joy around our rooms. Well, I was anyway. Upon that equaliser, and then you know, we barely stopped celebrating Pinky, and a cross comes in from the left-hand side. Willock converts it with a really well taken header, to his credit. But come on, we've got to talk about it. It's a foul, isn't it, on Ogbonna?
No.
Come on.
Because if it was, we wouldn't have lost the game 3-2.
Okay.
I mean, you know, we need to stop this almost Liverpool-esque or Tottenham-esque victimhood nonsense that we get drawn into. Yeah, you know, we commit dozens of fouls every game in similar circumstances that are never penalised, that we turn a blind eye to. You know, that's football. You know, I'm nailing that goal firmly on 2 players: Vladimir Sufal, who didn't work hard enough to close his man down. Yeah, the guy inside him was covered by Fornals, so it wasn't a case of doubling up and he had to pick, you know, one or the other. He had a player who he knew his job: get out, stop the ball coming in. That's his job. That's the fullback's job. Stop the cross, you stop the goal. He didn't do his job. At the other side of the pitch, the other fullback is ball watching. Oh, look at that. Here's a lovely cross. Oh, no, there's Willock. He's just stuck in behind me. Oh, what a shame. Now, he's a youngster who will learn from that, and I'm not going to labour the point too much for him. But those 2 errors there cost that goal, not the nudge in the back for Ogbonna. You know, I mean, you know, defenders are nudged in the back all the time in those circumstances. Yeah, and it's rarely given. Yeah, the mistakes were Sufal didn't work hard enough, and Johnson was ball watching. Yeah,
Okay.
And you know, well, let me put it to you: do you think David Moyes on Monday morning at Rush Green is going to say, "Really unlucky lads, it was the nudge in the back that cost us"? No, he's going to get into Vladimir Sufal and going to go, "On the bus, you won't be stood in the bus stop much longer, pal. I'll make you walk everywhere. The bus is a treat going, you know, for you going forward." And young Johnson, you know, bless him, young players do make mistakes. That's why they tend not to get picked too early unless they're exceptional. And he'll be mortified, the young lad will, you know. And yeah, perhaps the manager, to protect a young player, might make more of the Ogbonna nudge than he should do. But you look at that and you go, 2 clear mistakes in the same attacking move, you know, and that's what's cost us, no doubt about it. And you'd argue mistakes for the 3rd goal, mistake for the second goal, comedy of errors for the first goal. We've gifted 3 points to Newcastle United. No doubt about it. Steve Bruce, you know, he'll be sending David Moyes a case of wine for that, because he'll be thinking, thank you very much indeed. 6 points. 6 points from West Ham United this season. And we think we're going for the Champions League, do we?
Steve Bruce, of course, is on the telly right now. Can't hear a word he's saying. And Gnome, who would usually be listening to those interviews for us, has had to pop off. So we'll have to wait until a little bit later, and we'll bring you the best of, or the worst maybe, it depends which way you look at it, of Steve Bruce's post-match comments on KUMB. If you check the homepage a bit later on, that and David Moyes' views will be there, as no doubt those of some of our players. Rio, the final goal, I've got to ask you, because I mean, I understand what Pinky's saying, and I think it's a fair point he makes. But at the end of the day, I think the referees missed a pretty deliberate push in the back on Angelo Ogbonna, and one which, had it not taken place, would have probably prevented the goal being scored. What's your view on that?
I think there was a nudge. What we've got to take into consideration now is that with the AR, these kind of nudges and pushes shouldn't be taken, shouldn't be missed, should they? Every goal is reviewed, every mistake, every kind of potential opportunity to disallow the goal is looked at. And it wasn't given. So if it was given against us, we'd be hitting the roof. We'd be absolutely fuming, no? And I'd give the Callum Willock a bit of credit, because it was a cracking header.
Yeah.
He did his job, you know. He's gone up. Johnson has to be stronger, but Willock's absolutely nailed that header. It was absolutely cracking. You've got to say, could Fabianski have done better? But just a cracking header. The kind of positive move Newcastle put together all day with real intent. And, brilliant finish by Willock. I'm not going to argue about it, because if the book had been on the other foot and had been disallowed, if I'd have been a Newcastle fan, or West Ham fan, I would have hit the roof if that had been given against us. So,
I mean, the point is, I mean, you know, you look at VAR. We got one today, didn't we? We got one with a penalty, and you know, we lost one. You could potentially say with that, you know, not being looked at. So, you know, it kind of evens itself out. David Moyes is on the TV now. I don't know if either of you guys can hear what he's saying there, but I can see him puffing his cheeks out. He looks a little bit exasperated, although there's a slight smile on his face as well. But maybe we'll hear from the boss a little bit later. So that's it. It finished 3-2 to Newcastle. Rio, should we have a quick look at the forums while we're just
sure.
David Moyes in, and just see what the view is from the Hammers fans? No doubt everyone's going to be pretty scathing, I'd imagine, of that performance.
Yeah, there's a lot of negativity, as you completely understand. Honky Songs put, it's brain dead by Dawson. 2 stupid yellows. I keep saying it as well, but Johnson's not a wing back. We missed Arthur from an attacking point of view. Ben Rama does not help himself. Not had much opportunity in the last 2 appearances, but 4 times his ball contact, 3 last week and 1 this week. That's my issue with him. So 7 has put, it was incredibly poor a day from the whole team. No individuals to blame, just a poor performance. Our passing was off from the start, and we failed to get any rhythm. Injuries certainly didn't help, as you would feel it would have been a much different game if we had the likes of Rice, Antonio Crespo and Masuaku. But no excuses. Every team suffers injuries. It's on us to be big enough and have a big enough squad to cope with it. Newcastle had a solid game plan, and it completely threw us. Pezza 20. For once, Moisey got it wrong. We knew how Newcastle would play, and leaving nobody in the middle against Mixon was asking for trouble. I don't quite get where people thought we played well. We need to quicken the play, and he should have been the one driving that, but he just dilly-dallied every single time in the first half, which makes the runs that people are making worthless as they get covered. Johnson had some good and bad, but he wasn't the cause of the defeat. Step forward Fabianski, who had the biggest blunder game since Liverpool last year. Truly awful goalkeeping. But to get ourselves back in the game at 2-2 and then squander really hurt. Mumbles 87. So I woke up from nights, 2-0 down, 10 men. I thought, oh, sod it, I'll watch it. Second half, just as a half of football, I was impressed. We battled back. We gave our all. It's a shame we lost, but these things happen. Who would have had us down to 6 points from the past 2 games? I still think we'll finish top 6. And Sendo, a needless red card, a clumsy own goal, and a calamitous goalkeeping error. It's not the West Ham of old. But if you give the other team a 2-goal lead and 1-man head start, you need to play incredibly well to get anything out of that game. Honestly, we didn't deserve it. The second half was better, but still not good enough. And it took after our second 2 attacks for Newcastle to score again. Despite us being so defensively solid for the whole season, for the last 4 games or so, we've got all at sea at the back. The chance to go third squandered in time-honoured West Ham style. And last one, Italian Hammer. Stupid errors by Fabianski and Dawson did us. Were we poor? Yes. But this is the second game in a row where Dawson has picked up an early yellow card. Yep. Today got done again by a poor touch and lunging to try and recover it. Tactically, I thought Moyes got it wrong. Newcastle sat back and tried to hit us on the counter. Our lack of pace in the middle exposed us. Better second half, but going to concede so quickly after getting back into it. Still, if we're going to have a stinker, better today than against Chelsea, which is now a real 6-pointer.
Yeah, very much so. And we'll come on to that game in just a minute. But I've just got to say before we carry on, I get the feeling my dear wife, who looks after me very well, wants me to get on with this particular stream this afternoon, because this has just landed on my desk. And I can't eat it while we're doing the stream. Can you see that? Look at that. I know. Look at it. It's gorgeous. And I can't eat it and talk at the same time.
No wonder you snapped her up. You know,
she's a keeper.
You just think he's slightly better than my next door neighbour, because he clearly settled down to watch the famous West Ham this afternoon. Yeah. Because his wife was out mowing the lawn. And I'm thinking, there's a man that's got it organised. Any of our viewers or listeners at the minute, I apologise. That was a bit of a everyday sexism, but there you go.
Yeah, a bit of, throw that in for good measure anyway. So we're going to have to hurry up now before my sandwich goes completely stone cold. But Pinky, we said earlier there wasn't that many comments on the Toontastic forum and Talk of the Toon, I think it was the other one, or something like that. Yeah. Did we manage to eke any more comments out?
Well, Bruce was very lucky there. Players too, mind, looked totally disinterested until they equalised. 35% possession against 10 men for an hour says it all. I mean, the consensus clearly is, they got the win, but the ill feeling against both Mike Ashley and Steve Bruce at that football club. Yeah. If Moose thinks that our supporters somehow suck the life and joy out of our players, he needs to go to Newcastle and see what really goes on when football supporters don't get behind their team. James, there you go. It's 30 posts on a forum where you've got posters with 30 and 40,000 posts to the name. There is a wholesale boycott of Newcastle United going on at the minute. Their fans clearly are not impressed. There you go. Got away with murder. What an absolutely shockingly good game. Got away with one there. That second half nearly killed me. Basically, they're not happy in Newcastle, and I don't know why. Because, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think they've won anything anytime recently, have they? I think even Tottenham have won a trophy more recently than Newcastle.
Was it the Fairs Cup they won in '68? Was their only major tournament?
Something like that.
In the last 50 years, 60 years. Something.
So they're another club that's got a divine right to trophies and things, because they won something 50 odd years ago. And dare I say it, is Mike Ashley the worst owner in the world? No, because I think we've got the worst owners in the world. And if our season does peter out into nothing now, and it could do, because we've run out of bodies, remember, the board of directors have failed to support the manager appropriately. We've gone into the second half of the season without a recognised striker at the club. We've gone into the season generally with, every week now, 2 starters every week are on loan players from other football clubs.
Yeah.
Craig Dawson and Jesse Lingard.
Mm.
The lack of reinforcements, the lack of money for this manager. I totally get that the previous manager's mistakes had to be swept up to a certain extent. But who else in the top flight would go into half a season without a striker? Who else?
Yeah.
And you know, talk about for the want of a nail, you know, for the want of just one extra top draw player, yeah, we could have picked up 3 points today. Instead, we introduced Said Benrahma, our £30 million, marquee signing, and more I'm convinced the only reason we were able to get rid of Sebastian Haller is because we'd already agreed that we would sign Benrahma. In that sense, it was this relationship between our chairman, a football agent called Will Salthouse, and a particular agency is not healthy. There's too many deals within deals getting done. I'll take this player if you can shift that player, kind of thing. There's too much of it going on, and I can't think of another Premier League club where an agent and a chairman are so hand in glove to the detriment of the manager. And as good a season as we've had, here we are at the business end of the season when you really need to start pushing the accelerator and say, we want some points. Yeah. It doesn't happen because he's just run out of bodies. David Moyes, his post-match comments there, he's done his best to protect the players. He said, yeah, there's a couple of individual errors, but, generally we were good and all. No, we weren't, Mr. Moyes. We weren't good at all today. We were poor today, and they were calamitous errors. But be honest, you've run out of options. You clearly don't fancy Said Benrahma because you never pick him to start.
Yeah.
And you leave it to the last possible moment before you throw him on. If that doesn't tell us that the manager never wanted that player, then nothing else will. And you just think the fee was supposed to pay for him, close to £30 million. What could that have bought? And that's the difference. So if the chairman sits there and goes, we've missed out on the Champions League, well, physician, heal thyself, because your manager's dug you out of a huge hole all season. A limited squad of players has dug the chairman out of a huge hole all season. But ultimately, when it's come to the crunch, we've just run out of bodies. And to lose 6 points to this particular Newcastle is pretty unforgivable. It's shocking stuff.
Yes, not good at all. And as you're saying there, Benrahma not trusted to come on the pitch until 15 minutes to go when he replaced Noble after we'd already pulled a goal back at the time when, we were kind of crying out for something a little bit different on the pitch. And that's where I want to turn to next, actually, gentlemen, because, we're quite generous, I think, in our praise of David Moyes when the team's doing well. So I think it's only fair that, when criticism is due, that we perhaps throw a little bit of that in his general direction. Might not be today. Let's see what you guys think. But we were kind of bemoaning, Rio, the fact that even at half time we were talking about how do we change this at the break. We were trying to come up with a solution between us for the second half. After an hour, we were kind of sitting here thinking, when's the change coming? And the first change didn't arrive until, as we just mentioned there, Benrahma coming on for Noble with just 15 minutes of the game to go, and you've got Lanzini on the bench. Yarmolenko was back. Again, we don't know how fit they are, but the fact that they were on the bench would kind of suggest they were, able to do a job, to coin a phrase. Any criticism of Moyes today with the way he used his subs? Because this is obviously something that he is frequently criticised for by the fan base, his perceived ill timing of substitutions.
I think there's an argument for both sides of the coin. The fact that we actually got it back to 2-2 without really a major change of personnel to start with, you got to give credit to the manager. And when the second half started, for the next 20, 25 minutes, we were largely on the front foot. We were the ones asking the questions. Even down to 10 men, we were putting plenty of corners, plenty of crosses into the box. yes, there was obviously deficiencies in our patterns of attack. No, the left-hand side was notably weak. But who could have come on and truly played left wing or left wing back to try and ask the questions there now in a more natural manner than Ben Johnson did? So it's still harsh to be too critical of him because the way we got back into the game.
Yeah.
And you also got to factor in, he clearly doesn't trust Ben Rama.
Yeah.
And Ben Rama, for me, with every passing week, with his little cameo appearances, he's doing nothing to persuade the manager any other way. You know, he's not defensively disciplined enough. He's wasteful in possession. He gets caught out so many times, much to our detriment, and it's cost us a few goals. So you can see why the manager doesn't trust him. Lanzini's are in 1 or 2 games, and that won the goal against Tottenham. He's not produced anything for the last 18 months or so.
Yeah.
He clearly wasn't fit. Yarmolenko clearly isn't fit. So despite the fact that he was on the bench and available for selection, the fact that he didn't bring him on until about 15 minutes to go really says a lot about their fitness and their state of mind. And again, going back to our squad depth, because they really shouldn't be on the bench in a normal season with a normal, fully fit squad with plenty of opportunities to bodies to pick from. Any other season, they won't even be on there. They won't be under consideration. But because we are so desperate in numbers, they're being rushed back a little and asked to play a part in a Champions League push.
Yeah.
What other team in this position would do that?
Yeah, fair enough. Fair points. Pinky, do you agree with Rio on that? Do you think credit should be due? Because, you know, we were 2-0 down at half-time. We were kind of pretty much sitting here urging him to make subs. Didn't make the subs, but he certainly must have changed something at half-time because we got back to it at 2-2. But what's your view on the way he managed that game in the second half?
Personally, I think he should have brought the subs on earlier.
Right.
I can understand why he didn't, and for the reasons that Rio's illustrated there. But you could almost argue that, well, okay, you know, getting it back to all square vindicated his position. Well, did it, or was that just some good fortune? You know, no VAR, no penalty kick, and no all square. So you know, if people are trying to tell me that he's managing the situation well because VAR dug us out of a hole, well, that's a bit of a stretch for me. I think a couple of things he did today sort of suggested a lack of urgency in terms of a lack of, the message didn't seem to be, you know, get a win and we really are pushing for third spot here. Yeah, I didn't feel that at any stage this afternoon that was the mindset the players went onto the field with.
Yeah.
Not from the first minute, not from the 46th minute did I feel the message was get a win, because we need a win to cement third spot. It's almost like some of the old doubts have crept back in, like, you know, it's like when you cop off with the best looking bird in the nightclub and you start saying, well, how have I done that? Yeah. You know, if you're that lacking in confidence and you're never going to hang on to her. And I think all we saw today was actually, when it comes to the crunch, when we were sitting there, do we deserve to be anywhere near third? The message today seemed to be collectively no. And if that's the approach you're going to take, if that's the attitude you're going to take, then you're not going to be third. You're going to slide down the table to your rightful place. And I'm sorry, I'm not having it West Ham knowing its place and tugging our forelock and walking out the room backwards and being grateful for our lot. Yeah, you know, I want a chairman who's actually got some money, can actually support the manager and say, striker, you say, yes, we'll go and get one for you right now. Because when Alex Ferguson was winning all those titles at Manchester United and Arsene Wenger was doing it at Arsenal, they were going into their boards and saying, I need player A, B, or C. Yeah. And actually their boards were saying A, B, or C. No, Mr. Wenger, no, Mr. Ferguson. You can have A and B and C, because do you know what? We want to win things as a football club. We're not scared of qualifying for Europe because we need a bigger squad. We actually will back a manager to get us into Europe, and we'll be delighted to back him with a squad. I mean, the nonsense we've heard this week about, you know, oh, Europe's not good for us. Do me a favour. What's the point of all this?
Mm.
And I'm sorry, as a group of supporters, and if you're watching Ian Abrams and thinking that we're the negative ones that drag the team down, can you imagine the reaction today of our travelling support after that first 45 minutes? Individual errors or not, we weren't at it. We didn't want it. We didn't fancy it. We'd have been getting stuck into the players and say, effort is equal. Application is what we require. We weren't working hard enough. We weren't running hard enough. We weren't thinking smartly enough. The fact we clawed it back to 2-2 just tells me that Newcastle are fundamentally rubbish. Yeah. Unlike that sausage sandwich, which you're clearly enjoying in the background there. But yeah, ultimately, did we look today like a team that said, Europe, here we come?
No.
Yeah. I don't think so.
No, very, very much from it. And I should point out, I haven't actually taken a bite yet, but I was just kind of moving the sausages around and getting a taste for it in a minute. Anyway,
do it.
Couple more things before we wrap up, because of course there's some very important things to be done here in the shape of a sausage sandwich very shortly. Next up, Chelsea. Always was a big game, Rio. Could still be the game that decides who takes that third or fourth Champions League spot. But for West Ham, it's become even more important now following that defeat today. Can we beat them next weekend? Are we going to beat them next weekend?
It's made it incredibly unlikely. We're dropping like flies in terms of numbers. The one bonus for me out of today is that Craig Dawson will not be a part of that game. Because for the last 6 weeks or so, and dare I say it, whether the contract signed, sealed and delivered that we actually bought him, he has looked every bit the player that Watford fans detested with an absolute passion. He's gone from a revelation, a solid English centre-half, committed to everything, into someone who should be committed and never seen again a West Ham shirt. He's form over the last month or so has been absolutely shocking. And I'm rather glad he's not playing a part next week against a Chelsea side that we all know has got a wealth of attacking talent and can hurt people.
Yeah.
Now we're desperately short on numbers. We need a mental boost during the week. We've said this a few times the last few weeks, haven't we? We need to regroup as a squad, mentally toughen up. You know, next week is the do or die. The Champions League potential qualification next week is the game. We need to get that into the players. We need someone to take leadership. We need someone to get a hold of them and it's not come out in the manner that we did today. Because today we had a defeatist attitude from the off. We didn't look at the races at all. You know? This isn't the West Ham side we've seen all season. All season we've seen West Ham side with passion, desire, intent. We had none of that today.
Yep.
And it was so shockingly bad and evident that had we been in a different position, I would have said that as in biannual, triannual relegation fight, I would have said we're doomed. It looked like we took the foot off the pedal 3 weeks early. So we need to regroup, refocus, and get into the players that this is the biggest game of the season next week. Win this, we're on the front foot. Chelsea are the ones who are playing catch up again. This is our biggest game for a long, long time next week. We cannot afford to let it slip. All right, yeah, we're lacking numbers, but a bit of mentality, a bit of aggression, a bit of passion, a bit of intelligence wouldn't go amiss next week. I just hope that we revert to the type of West Ham that we've seen each and every week, largely, until today, because today wasn't good enough in any level at any stage.
Okay, excellent, good stuff. Pinky Rio says it's the biggest game for a long time next week. Chelsea, West Ham United v Chelsea, could be, as we said, it could be, you know, one of those two teams that qualifies for the Champions League. I think we're also discounting Leicester, though, because we know what a tough running they've got as well, and I think they're still going to have a part to play in this. But we'll come to that in just a minute. But as far as West Ham and Chelsea goes next week, what are your thoughts?
Well, all games against Chelsea should be a big game. You know, whether we're sitting, you know, comfortably in mid-table and they've already won the league or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I don't think there's any love lost between the two groups of supporters ever. So for me, yeah, big game, come what may.
Mm-hmm.
And what I'm looking for is a performance from our players, desire, determination, application, yeah, an attitude that says we are not going to give away soft goals, because let's not kid ourselves. The money that Chelsea have been able to invest in their squad season after season, year after year, you know, you'd think it was us that had the transfer ban for a season, not them, you know, in terms of recruitment. You know, their manager has got a wealth of talent at his disposal, but you know what? You know, hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard, and that's a truism in sport. And you know, they might have more talented players because they've got more squad depth. But we can work hard. We can make it difficult for them. We can make it as hard for them today as we've made for other clubs. As hard for them next week as we've made for other clubs this season. And that's what I want to see. I want to see a hard-working performance that actually says, if you're going to get something from us, Chelsea, you'll have earned it. What I don't want to see is gifted goals from individual errors, you know, and I'll be kind and say I'll put today down as the one really shocking game since the start of the season. And it probably has been. That's probably our worst performance since the opening day.
Yeah, since Newcastle again, yeah.
Yeah, it's Newcastle again. But for us to beat Chelsea, I think that's a massive ask now. So I think we should try to beat them. I don't think we should, you know, play them with an attitude that says we'll just go for the point. I think try and beat them. But if all we get is a point, I'd say that's a good point. But it really is, I mean, dare I say it, bare bones. I've praised David Moyes plenty over the last several weeks because he's not whinged about his injury list. He's got on with it and so forth. Today, we just got exposed a bit. And I'm sorry to keep going on about Ben Rama, but this whole affair where the chairman has clearly done a deal with an agent, he's delivered a player to the manager, who the manager doesn't trust. What impact, you know, never mind Ian Abrams going on about West Ham United supporters, you know, adversely affecting the players. Mm-hmm. What does Ian Abrams think the arrival of a player who the manager clearly doesn't trust or want does to the dressing room? I'd like to hear that sort of comment on TalkSport and say, you know, if he really thinks it's us, the supporters are affecting the players, maybe you should ask what the chairman does by doing that sort of stroke season after season. And we heard this from Sam Allardyce when he was the manager. You know, how a player would arrive at the training ground and it'd be, well, here's one for you. And the manager would know nothing about it.
Yeah.
So it's that kind of thing. But next week, it is a case of go with what we've got. I don't know how long Cresswell's out for, but by golly, we could do with him back. The fact that Ogbonna had to come in and play the full 90 today after a long layoff ought to tell us as well how threadbare it is. If there's any chance at all of patching Mikel Antonio up and getting him on the field, we should take the chance. You know, ditto Declan Rice. And dare I say it, with all the comments about Rice and his best mate Mason Mount and all the rest of it, I've just got a sneaking feeling that we'll see Declan Rice back next week. Call it a hunch. Yeah.
It's on Instagram, some pictures of him in the gym on the treadmill doing some weights. So
I'm never going to own up to doing
I'm
Instagram. So you know, but all I'll tell you, if you want, I'll stick some pictures of me up on a treadmill doing some weights on Instagram if you want. But I ain't starting for West Ham next week on the back of that. I think we'll see.
No, you're on the bench, obviously.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah. Filling three-quarters of the bench. But I think we'll see Declan back next week.
Okay.
And that ought to make a massive difference. If for no other reason, the morale will improve. But I'm looking for improved individual performances by fewer errors and a bit of heart, a bit of desire. Yeah, a bit more than a hot dog. You know what I mean?
Yes, or a sausage even.
Yeah.
But we are rapidly drawing to conclusion. Now, we said last week we're going to ask this question at the end of every live stream. So it's been a disappointing one this afternoon, but I'm going to put it to you again, gentlemen. And we will do for the next few weeks until it's no longer feasible to do so. But the question, as per last week, is Champions League qualification, yes or no? Rio, yes or no for you?
It's still a no.
Still
it's
a no.
looking increasingly unlikely by the week.
Okay, still a no for Rio. Pinky, yes or no? Champions League qualification.
I was a yes. I'm now a no, because to do it, we've got to beat Chelsea next week. And while stranger things have happened, can I give you my answer when I see next week's team sheet?
Yeah.
Because I genuinely feel if we could get Declan Rice back on the pitch, next week, the difference in calibre of player that we've suddenly got available is enormous. And the lift that would give to the whole team is enormous. You know, the belief, we spoke about it today, a lack of on the pitch leadership, and Nobes, who has carried the torch for so long, his arm must be falling off.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't do it today. You know, I suspect if you got hold of Mark Noble now, he'd tell you I probably shouldn't have played today. But let's not forget, he took a really nasty knock last week.
He did, yeah.
And he's probably done all he could do just to get on the field today. Yeah. But if we could get Rice back next week, I might give you a different answer to what I'd give you if you're asking the question right now.
Okay, well, if I remember, I'll put it to you before the game begins. If Deckers is back in the starting lineup for that game next Saturday at the London Olympic Stadium, when West Ham take on Chelsea in a huge game. Rio said it, biggest game for a long time, probably, quite possibly the biggest game since we played them last season when we turned them over with that late goal from Yarmolenko, wasn't it? I think to win 3-2, funnily enough, yet again, another one of those. But anyway, that's just about it. Oh, I haven't given my verdict. I'm going to say yes still. I said yes last week, and I still think yes. I've got a feeling both us and Chelsea might yet qualify because, as I mentioned there, Leicester have got those horrendous last three games. I think we could still afford to lose against Chelsea, and it would really lump the pressure on us. But, Burnley, Everton, Brighton, West Brom, Southampton, if we were to win those 5 games, and again, that's a huge ask, I think that might just be enough to see us over the line, given who Leicester have got, Tottenham, Man U, and was it Chelsea, someone else in their last 3 games. But very tough. So
I think you're high on sausage fumes. Sorry,
Rio, sorry.
I think you're high on sausage fumes, to be honest. But you carry on.
You're quite possibly right. It's been wafting over for the last 15 minutes or so. So I'm gonna end the stream there. Sorry, Pinky, you're going to come in there.
Well, I was almost going to go the full Lineker there in terms of if we're in a position for the Saints game to qualify for the Champions League, I'll happily sit in the bowling bar at the London Stadium in my underpants, before kickoff. There you go. I'll sit in the lounge there in my underpants. Okay. All right. That's a commitment there. Okay. We won't be streaming that, by the way.
I think we might have to. I think if that were the case, we'd have to send some equipment up there just to record such a memorable and occasion. But we shall see. Of course, that could yet be the case. But that is it for today.
If that doesn't incentivise the players to perform, nothing will.
Pinky's pants. You want to see that? Come on, everybody. I don't know where to go from there. I'm trying to think of a link, but I can't think one. Pinky's pants on promise for the final day of the season. If West Ham can still be in the shout with the Champions League qualification on that day. Let's hope we get to see it. But as far as today goes, that's it from us. Me and the team, myself and Gnome, who parted company with earlier, and Rio, and the Pink Palermo. It's been a disappointing day for West Ham United. It's been a day on which the club's Champions League hopes have taken a major dent, going down 3-2 at St James's Park against Newcastle United. An own goal, again, another own goal, a red card, a goalkeeping blunder, and still we got it back to 2-2, but it just wasn't to be today as the Hammers went down on the day. We will be back next week for West Ham United versus Chelsea. Huge game in what could still be a Champions League qualification. You never know, but we shall wait and see. It's going to be a long week until then, no doubt, but that's it from us. We shall see you next Saturday. I'm off to eat one of these, so come on, you irons, and we'll see you again very soon.
You